numbers.
Hey guys, welcome to another fun-filled, exciting episode of the Cleveland Moto Podcast, episode number 476. Light them up, boys. And there we go. Oh, that was a good out.
There you go.
Who got in there at the end? That was a good... Oh, way to go, Mr. Hemsling. Damn, that was a good one.
I thought it could have been Dan from all the practice, and he's been doing
I was going to say.
What?
No, all those beers came off a hand pull. There was no popping tops.
No, yeah. So,
explain a hand pull.
Yeah, we'll get to
$5, same as downtown.
to my immediate left.
Don't get the penguin.
Sean Noel.
And Sean Noel, what did you drive here tonight in?
My new 2024 Honda Civic Sport Touring hatchback with 6-speed manual.
Sweet.
Beautiful car, man. Beautiful car.
What color is that car?
She is Boost Blue Pearl.
Oh, fucking hell. It's so sexy. It is a very sexy car. And to his immediate left, we have...
Dan Kromke
And Dan Kromke, where are you back from?
just came back from Scotland and England.
How long were you gone?
Almost 2.5 weeks.
Well done, sir.
I have questions for our UK listeners.
And when did you get home, Dan?
Oh, like 6:15 tonight.
Well played.
I love the level of dedication.
That is
to
dedication.
Right. Oh, I'm going to the podcast.
I'm going to the podcast. No, honey, you handle the luggage. I'm going to the podcast.
He's still 6 hours
I got home just a wee minute ago.
We have
I
tried.
didn't even unpack the whiskey.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
God, that's probably for the best.
That's why I've got a Jack and Coke.
Bloody hell.
Cheers to that.
Did you see Ewan McGregor? Was he riding around over there or anything?
Say again?
Did you see Ewan McGregor riding around in Scotland?
Ben Kenobi. Did you see Ben Kenobi?
That dude doesn't ride a bike unless he's getting paid to ride.
I disagree.
I'm kidding.
I want to know why everyone in the UK rides adventure bikes when there's basically nowhere to ride off-road.
Oh, there's no adventure?
And everything is within a 3-mile drive.
It's because of
The
the
whole country is within a 3-mile drive.
It's because of the dreadful roads.
To his immediate left,
Steve Sleepy.
Sleepy, what did you show up on tonight?
The Tuono.
Boy,
Fun bike.
The Thunder. The Thunder.
It does sound good.
And we
doesn't
heard
it?
you coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We heard you coming like, I mean, seriously, like a weather front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bike is awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Piper liked your carbon fiber can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
I took it home and blasted it in the
You did?
driveway, and
Nice.
she came out. She's like, "What the hell is that?" I'm
I
like,
took a lap.
I
I took a lap around the neighborhood, and I'm absolutely certain you could hear me.
Oh, we could. Yeah.
Everywhere I
Actually,
went.
I was pretty excited because I haven't really heard.
Oh, you haven't heard your own bike yet?
No, like, I've heard it. I'm
Dude,
on
I only
it.
got it as high as 11,000 RPM.
Yeah, that's
And that is
you're still
a
moving
lot
though.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
only, let's 60%.
That's like 120 miles an hour in first gear.
second, yeah.
Yeah, second,
for real,
easy.
yeah. I was on Warren, and I got up over 100 miles an hour on Warren.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on
And that's one light.
I was on the highway and I'm cruising at 80 miles an hour at like 3,700 RPMs in sixth gear or some shit like that.
I can get to work in like you've done it. A minute and a half,
It's
I think
ridiculous.
you said.
Yeah, 90
and
seconds.
so on that bike, if you catch the light there, you're probably there before like, the light gets there.
I thought it was funny because I was like, okay, well, where can I ride this bike in the neighborhood and actually get to feel a little bit of it?
Right.
Not many places.
No.
Not really. No.
So, Cinchi, if you come up behind those Harley guys again,
Oh, they don't have a chance. Yeah, they won't see me. But here's the thing though, man. Like
You
I
may
think
slow down to let them catch up,
Right.
so you can do that again.
but it
thank
is-
you very much.
But when I first got it, I was a little nervous. I'm like, am I going to be, is this thing going to be fun? Is it going to be just too much? But it's very rideable. Like it's a rideable motorcycle. And as long as your brain doesn't go, okay, just nail the throttle, it's a regular bike that rides like a regular, smooth, really nice bike.
And to his immediate left is
Johnny Mac.
John. You got to take the Tuono, the Aprilia Tuono out.
It's a handful. It's fun though. But I echo what you just said. I mean, you can short shift it and just give it a little throttle. It rolls along real nice and everything. But I didn't give it more than a quarter throttle to find out that it was like, whoa.
My first pulling out the driveway, I was like, why does this have a Ducati clutch?
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what
she's a bit clattery on the bottom end.
Well, that's what they are. So like I looked at the bike and I'm like, let me get back to you.
Right.
So I went home and like I stayed like up to like 4 a.m. doing research, and pretty much like 99.9% of the comments are like, is your clutch rattly until you're yes, it is. That's just the way it is. And also the bike is a little grunty and gravelly between 1,000 and 2,000 because it's a race bike and it doesn't want to be at 1,000 or 2,000 RPMs.
It's not a commuter.
No. So, but tomorrow I'm going to Mark's house.
And that is a slipper clutch.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that one of the reasons, if you're used to clutches that are silent, is that slipper clutches have a lot more moving parts inside of them.
Right.
So you're going to hear some stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, so, Mark that was here, he's a Ducati and also an Aprilia, tech. And so I'm taking it to his house tomorrow. We're going to set the sag, set the suspension up all for the bike. We're going to go over the brake system. We're going to go over the clutch. He's going to tune everything. So that bike, probably in a day or so, is going to be pretty
dialed.
Yeah.
It was
It's a beast.
the handling is just stupid. It's just like this. I don't feel this is so sure-footed and planted and
Yeah.
And I almost had to lay her down when I was trying to turn around because there is no turning around.
The lock to lock on that thing is 8 degrees.
There are a bunch of Clibbins in my driveway right now.
And to his left is
Speedy Pete.
Speedy Pete. Speedy Pete, what'd you show up on today?
I drove my Honda Fit.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I'm riding tomorrow. I'm getting up early tomorrow to go.
Tonight's podcast is literally cars and coffee.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. We have a good selection out there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I love our driveway right now.
Johnny brought. What'd you bring?
I brought the 1988 Corvette
With?
with a Doug Nash 4+3 and convertible.
Yeah,
in black and color.
And it's just damn near perfect right now.
Oh, yeah.
4-speed overdrive.
You've done a very good job with that car, with that free car.
It has patina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think it's just perfect. It was strange. I've never sat in one of those.
Yeah.
And I've sat in so many, and Tom and I were talking about this because you had a Miata.
Oh, I had a Miata and I had an RX-7 in college.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I missed the RX-7. I missed both of them.
And I had the Mazda Unos, the JDM one.
I had a first generation RX-7, about 85 GSL. And then I had a NA and NB Miata. And then I had to give them all up because, well, I'm a mechanic. So if anything goes wrong, I don't have time to fix it.
Well, and I had the 325i. I've had a Mitsubishi. I've had a Fiat 500. I've had all these cars that have a cloth top. And the general consensus is if you own a car with a cloth top, you give away being able to look over your shoulders to see what's happening because you can't see that, right? And your car, when I look over my shoulders, I can see every damn thing.
Yeah, and I have the seat kind of slammed. I mean, it goes up and, like you could make it.
Yeah, but I'm 6'1" and all my height's in my legs.
Yeah.
And you
so
know
when
what?
I'm sitting down, I'm actually shorter than the average
I was going to
bear.
say, you're 6'1".
Yeah.
You sat in that Corvette. You
Yeah.
know what you didn't do? Your head was not over
No,
top
my
of the
head wasn't
windshield.
over the glass,
Yep.
first thing, and I didn't have to do the Clarkson to get into it.
I
actually got into it like a normal human
what was
being.
the
I
car?
did end up taking the sun visor off the driver's side because it would get in my way no matter what.
Yeah.
I deleted it.
It was in the wrong spot.
Yeah, no.
Sun visor
Sun visor
delete.
delete.
What car did you have that was basically like a boot for your body? That red one,
The
Beat.
The Honda Beat.
Beat.
Yeah.
The Honda Beat was seriously, I've had pants that fit bigger than that car. And don't get me wrong, brilliant car.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic car. But when you're driving a late gen MR2, one of the Lotus
Dustbuster
MR2s.
looking ones?
The MR2, the late one.
The slant nose.
The runabout, the MR2 Spider.
Spider.
So I had a Spider. Well, Merritt had a Spider. And that I was always like, this car is ridiculously like, it's just enough for me and her and one large fish. Like that's it. The frunk or whatever they had.
Yep.
It was large enough for like a 12-pound fish.
Yep.
That was it. Don't bring your golf bats. Don't bring any of your shit with you. It's just you. You're not picking up the shopping. This is what the car is. And I thought that car was too tight for practical applications until I got the Honda Beat.
On a beat.
And when we got the Honda Beat, I was like, they figured out a way to make a car smaller.
Yeah.
And they did. It's seriously.
You can't put the contents of the shopping cart in
Phil-
the Beat, but you can put the Beat in the shopping
Phil,
cart.
Yes.
Phil figured out really quick you can put a spare set of socks in the front.
What I learned was the area behind your head that is the engine cover. I'm not joking. The hood of the engine is behind your head because it's midships.
It's a 660 rear-wheel drive with a
Midship.
transaxle literally right underneath it.
right back there. And I would take like 6 bags of Aldi shit and put it behind my head because open up the hood, the area in the front where the motor isn't, and that's where they keep the spare tire. So yeah, so that's how that works. So your car was remarkably roomy.
It's very comfortable. I mean,
It's super comfortable.
I went to Pennsylvania to visit my family once, and both on the way down and on the way back, I overshot my mark. I was on the turnpike just having such a good time.
You just forgot.
Flying along at 100 mile an hour and like, yeah, this is so cool.
Shut up,
And I'm
Greenberg.
like, and I'm like, what the fuck what am I doing in Zealand? Like, and I came back and I didn't realize it till I was out in like fucking Amherst or something. Like I was like, wait, I'm not getting on two. Like,
No, I love it. Absolutely love it. To Pete's immediate left,
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith showed up tonight on
Janusz.
The new American motorcycle.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Hey, it's made in America.
Absolutely. It's made in America.
and the only question is we're gonna have to look at a little sticker to see how woke it is.
Yep.
Because they're gonna make a law now that you have to put a sticker on it to say how much of your content is woke.
69%.
But I wanted to say that while we were taking a break from the podcast, I dropped episode 26, which was Chris Smith's first podcast.
Which was fun.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It's a great podcast. I laughed and smiled the whole time I listened to that fucking thing. Your very first time.
Yep.
So your first time in Dustin's basement. And
In a studio, actually.
it was a beautiful studio.
Yeah.
It still is a beautiful studio. It's just that his wife has it now. So the, but what a great experience that was. And listening to that, it was fucking fantastic. One of my favorite podcasts. And it was your very first podcast.
And it was the story of the
The GS 450E Edward.
1981.
Yeah, and it's funny, I did not realize until I was looking for pictures for a thumbnail for that video that in every market except for ours, that GS 450E was called the GSX 450E. I didn't either. I had no idea. So, but in the rest of the planet's designation, that bike got an X because a GS 450E would have been more of a standard cruiser style bike in the rest of the world's market. Rarer than I thought initially, because, we had one in the story. If you listen to podcast 26, the one that we just redropped last week, please listen to it because it's really fun. One, how much younger we are. It is really
Not me. I'm still old.
You're pretty young in that one. So that was over 10 years ago. So that was great, man. Super cool.
Well, the good news is I still own it.
Right, exactly. It's a still running rideable part of your stable.
1981 unit.
Yeah. It's really fun, and it's fun to go back on. It's giving me a lot of joy to drop those lost episodes because I know that people that are trying to go back and look at our history, they got a big gap there, right? And slowly but surely, we're dropping those episodes in. We're giving the little baby birds a little taste. Giving the baby birds a little taste. And behind the bar today,
Tom Pennington.
Tom has been fucking busy.
Tommy boy.
Yeah.
And Tom drove his house here today.
He
Yeah, drove the house today.
So Tom's lifestyle involves him going to exotic places
Yes.
and doing
Yep.
stuff that
Living the life, yes. Jet setting.
man,
Yes.
living the life of Riley.
Yep.
And I don't mean his dog.
Yep. He's living a pretty good life,
He's
too.
living a pretty good life too. But so, Tom had an all expense paid trip to Montana.
Montana. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. This is
So
cool.
they flew us into Bozeman
Bozeman. All right.
and then drove us an hour southwest to Big Sky, to this weird little town that is literally a company town.
Who is they, first off?
So Becky's boss works for a local, works for Bendix.
Bendix Brakes.
Bendix, yes.
Yeah.
Bendix out in Avon now.
Which is a huge company, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If the listeners don't know, Bendix Brakes started in, I think, Elyria.
Oh yeah, they've got a huge facility like just south of where ZZ's is, right by ZZ's Big Top.
Yep.
And she says the problem with that is it's World War II era.
Yes.
And the building is so, because we were talking about this with facility buying warehouses here.
Yeah.
There's been so much stuff in that ground that to remediate the soil there.
The EPA is not allowed to go anywhere near Bendix's headquarters.
Oh yeah, no, you literally have to wall that thing off for another 100 years because of all the stuff that has permeated that ground. But they part of her job, because she's in sales, is to entertain local areas, and this was the Canadian group. And they picked Montana this year. Now, the thing is, they always pick a place with a world-class golf course. And the problem
Which is
I
really
have
important to Tom.
And the problem is, I don't golf, so I feel
We
like...
know.
Yeah. We know. I don't have time to learn how to golf again. So
But you do play with your balls.
I do play with my balls. But they took us out there, and this huge... It's called the Montage. this big fancy hotel resort on the top of the hill.
Oh, wait a second. It's in Montana.
It's in Montana.
And it's called the Montage.
It's called the Montage.
Fuck.
And apparently it's a multinational chain of like hotels you'd never heard of.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Like, it is bizarre beyond bizarre. I mean, like, it's $2,000 a night bizarre. Yeah. And so on one of these days, and I have pictures of this, and I'll probably just pass them off to Sleepy because it's hysterical. They rented out a group of about 20 Polaris side-by-sides, RZRs. Little tiny ones, like 600 seats, it's 4-stroke. Gave us GPS coordinates and said, okay, cool, if y'all wreck, let us know, bye. And, like, go out to the 15-mile mark and turn around and come back, and it was ridiculous.
Is that like giving Tommy Pennington a dog bone?
Oh, it was amazing. I hooked up my phone. It had huge Rockford Fosgate speakers in it. I was rocking out with like crank to 11. I am blasting
because
this thing.
golf carts are so passe.
Oh, yeah. It is ridiculous. But you get out into Montana, and there is nothing. You're on the surface of the goddamn moon.
It's big sky country.
Yeah, it literally is. They're not joking.
So to speak.
And they're the mountains, because I grew up in West Virginia. We've got mountains, but those are foothills. The mountains in Montana are like really big, and you can't fucking breathe. Sleepy even said, he said, there was oxygen on the minibar. Like, you had this minibar where if you touched the minibar was like $17,000.
Don't open it.
I want to know how much a jar of oxygen is.
But there's
the mask and everything
a canister
on it.
with the like, what's the blue velvet mask? There's like fucking oxygen on this thing, and I'm like, God, but
is this nitrous? Because I'll do $5 a balloon. I'm in. Yeah, I've been
poppers. I've traded some grilled cheese for a balloon.
One of my good friends got married in like one of the ski resorts outside of Denver, which is way the fuck up in the sky. And I had oxygen problems because I lived in New Orleans for 20 years. I couldn't breathe. And they're like, I kept hauling luggage and shit. And they're like, it's okay. Last week we had to take somebody out in an ambulance. And I went, fuck, I'm going to die.
Dude, the first time I went to Boulder, I was still drinking. And I was supposed to be DJing at this club. And we went to a place and I had like 3 beers with dinner. And then we walked to the club, and it was on the 4th floor of this building.
Oh, God.
And I walked up the 4 floors and passed out.
Denver's ridiculous, and then you go like a half mile higher.
Oxygen.
Yeah.
We need it.
And alcohol doesn't treat you well.
And you've been living your life
oxygen.
here the whole life? And you go to somewhere that doesn't have it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, what the hell are you
It takes
people?
a minute.
What the hell are you Well, that was the old joke about Denver. Everybody got to Denver, and they looked at the rest of the mountains and went, fuck that.
Yeah. We're high enough.
We're good. We can't breathe here.
Make camp here. Yeah. We're a mile high. That's enough.
Montana was insane. Like, it's if you want to go somewhere where her sister lives in Longmont outside of Denver, which is where you move when you're tired of dealing with Denver's bullshit.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Montana, Bozeman area is where you move to when you're tired of Longmont's bullshit.
Where do I move to if I'm tired of Cleveland's bullshit?
Anywhere else.
Actually.
North Ridgeville.
No.
Chardon.
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
I moved here because I was tired of New Orleans bullshit. So.
Yeah, but our bullshit's new to you, so
Our
you're
bullshit's
not.
new.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I told Phil the other day I hit a mark. What you call it?
Yep, he did.
A bookmark.
So, for the past 2 years, we have all been saying, like, Narlands, like,
Narlands.
we understand, right? And we said there's going to be a time limit on that. But he did something. First time Tom's done it yet.
Yep.
What did Tom say?
Yep. I commented and I said, what the hell do we put on the roads around here that eats through metal like this? And I went, holy shit.
He's now owned it.
Yeah.
He has become the other Salt Life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I am now the other Salt Life.
The other Salt Life.
And it was ridiculous.
So, Pete,
Yeah.
Chris,
tell me what you did last week.
Yeah.
I rode my monkey around Lake Erie
Nice.
with 2 friends.
Yep.
So let's talk about that.
Okay. We left on Tuesday afternoon right from Phil's house at the corner of Jay Cox Road and the lake.
That is my house.
And we headed west. The first night we made it through Chicago. Oh, okay. So we stayed on
You didn't do it all in one day?
This is a pleasure cruise, man. We had
And we actually talked about that. That Johnny
They had
Johnny
the-
Mac would bust your balls
They
on
had
that
the
one.
yacht rock rolling. It was great.
John used to.
Fuck.
no. So Chris and I and a buddy of mine, my buddy from Seattle, that's that I rode with back in June out west, he was in town, and we took 2 monkeys and the hunter cub and just went around the lake. We were gone for 48 hours. We left Tuesday at noon, and we were home Thursday about noon.
About noon, yeah.
Yeah. So
you go because I this is still new to me. You go up through like Detroit, Windsor, and then around.
correct. Go through Detroit, and
then up through
actually, when you get
Buffalo.
into Windsor, you have to go back south.
Okay.
We stayed right on the lake as much as we could all the way. I mean, the lake was never more than quarter mile from us.
So you weren't doing the QEW or anything like that?
Nope. Nope.
Wait, when were you
Much
in
to our
Detroit?
chagrin.
We were in Detroit on Tuesday.
You would not be
On
able
Tuesday,
to.
got it.
Yeah. We got off. This was great though. So we're somewhere around Leamington. We're looking for a place to stay because we were traveling real light. No camping gear, one change of clothes, a toothbrush, and we're driving down the road and we see this really bitchin' looking go-kart track, like a road course, like a 1 mile long road course. And we're like, man, I wish we had more time. We go to that go-kart track right now. And then there was a hotel right next to the go-kart track. So guess where
So
we
you had the
posted up.
time.
And then we went back to the go-kart track and broke 2 of their go-karts.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Not Smith.
Smith was straight to the bar, and
I said, fuck this.
Jeff and I went to the go-kart track.
And explain the go-kart track.
Oh yeah, do that.
Well, there was these 3 guys that were running it that I can only describe as inbreds, but they were very friendly, very helpful.
Canadian.
They said we only
They were French.
yeah, and they let us ride pretty much until it got dark.
Really?
Yeah, like for one, we bought 1 ticket, and they just and
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah. So we had fun. It was good.
How was the equipment?
It was rough. So we broke, like I said, we broke 2 of them.
So when you do like being serious, you drive up to Buffalo and around, or you just
We stayed on the lake all the way to Buffalo, and we crossed at Buffalo. Yes.
Well, wait,
is that
but
right?
yeah, we went to
this is a
Detroit
thing.
first.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we went west to
But you drive up
east.
through Hamilton and the whole 9 yards.
No,
and
we
then-
stayed south of Hamilton, way south of Hamilton.
Okay, but you come in through Buffalo because I haven't done this yet. I keep hearing about this, so I've not done this.
I can show you the tracks. We did it on Rever.
Oh, you did.
Well, yeah, there's only like 2 roads.
fantastic.
I'm only seeing like 2 roads.
No, I planned it on Rever, and I kept us as close to the lake as possible, whether we were on a bicycle trail, a goat path, a gravel road, a farm road.
Yeah.
We never did actually ride on the beach, but
Yeah, pretty goddamn close.
pretty close. Yeah.
I'm seeing Route 3 through like Fort Erie and stuff.
I think we were in. We were on Route 3 at one point. I do remember that.
We were on a lot of gravel too.
And we had to go
guy's
into a
driveway.
town at one point to get fuel because the fuel range on those things is a little over 100 miles. So we did have to
Deviate.
go into town a couple times to get fuel. But what a beautiful weather. I think it was, of all my motorcycle travels ever over the last 40 years,
that looks too clean for Pete.
it was, right? It was the best weather ever. The mornings were like 65 degrees. The afternoons were like 75.
Yeah. Nice.
Not a raindrop.
We've had really good weather the past week.
So we did essentially 250 the first day.
Right.
And then the second day we're doing 300. But when we got to about 250, we come upon an old mansion on the lake. And they had a car show, and we pulled in just to see what was going on because we're looking for a hotel. And so we walk into the
Lobby / reception.
yeah, and they looked at us. So we're still wearing our riding gear.
Yeah.
And what do you guys want? And
What do you guys want?
and
They looked up and down at it with disgust.
well, no, wait a minute, but so the lady at the front, I said, well, we're looking for some rooms, and she says, the owner's right here. Talk to the owner. So the owner comes walking over, and he says, how many of you? And Pete says, 3 of us. Okay, well, we got a suite. It has 2 queen beds or whatever, and a couch. That'll work. $200. And I'm thinking, fucking great. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
And then they said, we have another suite with 7 bedrooms.
What?
But you only need 3, so I'll charge you $100 per bedroom. All right, still not that bad.
Yeah.
And then he says, And then in the dorms, it's a single bed and a sink and a toilet, $50 a night. And I'm thinking, fucking great. And Pete gets a vibe that this guy's looking him up and down, and Pete says, "No, I ain't doing it." Pete says, "Well, I'm a military veteran, and this guy next to me, Smith, he's handicapped mentally. What can you do for us?" The guy says, "I'm not making any deals," and so we end up leaving out of there and driving another 50 miles east.
I didn't like the cut of his jib, this guy. I'm just going to say he was an asshole.
Right.
But I mean, it was.
But he already gave you a sore dick deal, and you decided to negotiate.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a sore dick deal.
But it was a classic place. It's a place you'd go back and you'd tell Sleepy Cinch,
Right.
"I stayed here," and Cinch would say, "Where?" Anyhow.
These old ladies were walking around with like mink stoles and like pearl necklaces and shit. And
Oh, you're killing me now.
No,
Where the hell is
come
this
on.
place?
What the hell did you stumble into? Some cosplay weirdness?
Where was
or
this?
what?
no, it
What
was
in the
This
Twin
was
Peaks?
this was east of
okay. It's down. So we went through between Buffalo and Dunkirk, New York.
Okay,
So-
right,
somewhere along
right,
there.
yeah.
That stretch of Route 5 right there.
right on the lake though.
Isn't that like Orchard Park or something?
I think, yeah.
Orchard Park is very shishi.
Very shishi. Yeah.
This is like what used to be Shishi out here on the lake. But
Shisho.
the place was a little bit long in the tooth.
Freshwater life.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool.
It was kind of cool. The guy just rubbed me the wrong way because he was like looking at us like,
I commend you. I don't have a problem with that, Pete. 'cause
Was it the
there's
South Shore
sometimes when
Motor Lodge?
I run into somebody and they just, no,
Right.
not gonna do it.
Was it the Pines Motel on Lake Erie?
no, it was called the Sunsetter or the
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
the
Suncliff.
Suncliff.
Could be.
That might have been
Could
it.
be.
Suncliff Inn on the Lake.
The
Is
place-
it a big yellow
It was a
joint?
big yellow fucker.
That's it.
That's it.
That is a big yellow fucker.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
that's
we-
what that is.
So it was the only thing around there too. We would have been like held hostage to eat in there. Like,
Right. You would have been forced to use their facilities.
yeah.
It's very classic.
And drink in
It is-
their bar.
It is very classic.
Right.
So we ended up going another 50 miles west to Dunkirk.
You
And
could have gotten married there.
You could have gotten married there. Oh my God! To a very, very stout looking woman.
She's sturdy, built like
Yeah.
a brick shithouse.
yeah,
is.
short legs good for planting. Right.
Strong like bull.
Was it again? Strong Girl Farm?
Right. Oh my Lord. Okay. All right. So the Suncliff didn't pan out for you guys.
It is very classic, though.
That is truly.
But wait,
some-
let's put it into perspective.
it's
That
just-
two monkeys and something else just
Oh,
rolled
yeah,
up
no
on
I know.
this
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
But it's got a four.
In the middle of a car show.
It's
Oh really?
it's got a 4.5 review.
You almost made
Two
it sound.
stars, man. It's a 2-star.
You almost made it sound like you're staying at the Clue Mansion.
It does. It does
It's
have a lot
300
of.
306 reviews, a 4.4. It's not that bad a spot.
Not that bad of a spot. I'm with you. Okay, so but that's not where you went.
No.
And were you traveling clockwise or anti-clockwise at this point?
We
Yes.
were going clockwise.
We were going clockwise. Okay, very good.
So here's what
you-
happened. We crossed from Buffalo, or we crossed from Canada into Buffalo at about 5 o'clock in the Well, it was exactly 5 o'clock in the afternoon because I can tell you.
Yeah,
what.
yeah, we
across
knew
Fort-
that.
You went across Fort Erie. You went across the Peace Bridge.
Yes.
At the height of rush hour.
Well,
More than that.
we waited in line for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were literally the next one to go to the booth.
Yeah.
And it was 5 o'clock. They have a shift change.
Fucking shift change.
So we had to sit there like another 10 or 15 minutes.
With all the diesels.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But just the workers walking back
Yeah.
and forth at no speed at all and
Yeah,
thinking, fuck
absolutely.
these guys.
Oh my God. So you went to the Point Breeze RV Resort and Campground.
No, we ended up in Dunkirk, and
you did?
we stayed at the Clarion Resort.
Well, we
Hotel,
started-
right there, Clarion Hotel.
The Clarion
Center.
Resort and Hotel Conference Center.
And actually, that was a pretty good fall.
It,
back.
wa-
on the
yeah,
line.
it was
Yeah.
because Randy, dot not feather.
So those docks were right off the back of the hotel, and there was a pier there and a lighthouse, and there's a like an entertainment district with hotels or restaurants you could walk to and everything. And we had a pretty good evening there.
But that was the second place we stopped at because the first place was the Best Western. and
their
poor
hourly,
Pete.
Their hourly rates were no good.
Well,
What are they showing here?
poor Pete was talking
We
to the
keep the
Best
place clean.
Western. He's talking to the Best Western that was picked up in Punjab, India.
Right.
And the person said it was $93 a night, but it was
All they had
not.
was two twin room,
Oh, really?
two twin beds or something.
Oh, okay. All right.
And there were three of us. So
Yeah,
that
that's
worked.
not going to play. All right. Fair enough.
So we end up going down to this joint, and so Randy.
Randy.
We were a little surprised because when we rolled in, there was a lot of sketchy characters along the way, a lot of cinch kind of bike guys hanging out, and
you don't want that.
At
you know,
this joint.
we wonder. Well, on the way to this place, so
Yeah.
I said to Randy, I said, if we pull our bikes, into your lobby, will they be safe? No, I'm teasing,
Right,
but.
right.
But we pull him right up to the front window, and he says, "Hey, I got a camera and shit like that."
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so
We'll be able to see who stole them because I have cameras.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, we saddle up that night, and we flipped a coin, and Pete took the cot.
The cot.
Who
yeah.
was on top? Who was on the bottom?
Oh, so you made him roll the cot into the room.
Yeah.
Nice. Power move. Power move. Absolutely.
Power bottom.
And
That's
then,
good.
and then that next morning, we get up, we start rolling west.
Yep. Had the
I mean,
sun,
that's it.
sun at our back, and
Yeah.
it was
You're
100,
halfway home
150
now.
miles home from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
cool.
Altogether, we got home back to J. Coxon Lake there. It was 730 miles, I think.
Yeah, so you did. Yeah, because when we did the Lake Erie Loop the first time, my original plan, because I was running on 125 cc's, was to do what you did and hug the lake. I was like, well, I'm going to do it like a 50 cc. I'm not going to try to be out on a QEW or anything. And then on closer inspection, I was like, well, time is money. It's a race. So I was like, screw it. I'm staying on the QEW. I'm not here for tourism. I'm here for sightseeing. And I just stayed on the fast roads.
Well, what's the speed limit at the QEW?
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking fast.
Oh, yeah.
And the Canadians are like, oh, it's in K, so we don't care, right? And so I saw the sign that said 100,
Times 0.6.
and that was clicometers, but all the other people were like 100. That's federal standard units, apparently. And so I was like, as soon as I got to the other side of the Ambassador Bridge, it was showtime. And I did not show up to play on my pink S125. And yeah, I got taught a thing or two about drafting in Canada. And it was true. Like,
I mean, Hamilton, the QEW coming down through Hamilton.
that bridge is not fucking
People are
around.
going 80 plus, and like you're trying to maintain 70 maybe.
And you're going up the hill over the escarpment, which that bridge is a monster. And so you're going up it at like 58.6 miles per hour, but then going down it, everyone's going 1,000. And I had that bike pinned. There was nothing left in it. Had I hit a mosquito at that speed, I would have gone inverted. Yeah, there's no doubt it would have been a rectal cranial inversion. They'd be talking about it to this day. And then I ran out of gas
so
at the bottom of the hill.
so we're coming across the Peace Bridge coming into Buffalo,
Yeah.
and it says only what was that thing? The only digital passes or something like that.
Yeah, easy pass only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we don't have that shit. We just,
Yeah.
just get fucking going.
But then we get into Buffalo. By the time we get across the bridge and we're into the city of Buffalo, it's 5:30. We have to drive through the surface streets of Buffalo at 5:30.
No way.
So we found a convenient bike path that we used. And
Oh, the one that goes right along the goddamn river?
yeah, well, between the lake and
Yeah.
New York 5, I guess it is right there.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Use the bike path.
And then there was a bicycle bridge that we went across. So we went across the bridge. No traffic whatsoever. It's beautiful.
There were two pedestrians. Excuse us.
Yeah.
One less jogger on the road.
But then we thought we would see like something in the exurbs of Buffalo, a place to stay. Well, next thing you know, we're like out of Buffalo.
Yeah, you're out of Buffalo.
And so then that's how we ended up in Dunkirk. We had
Yeah.
to drive another, whatever.
It happens fast.
60 miles or something.
Damn, that's amazing.
Anyway, it was a good trip. It was
Yeah.
fun.
You could have stayed at the Hagarosa campgrounds.
Well,
stayed
we
there a
didn't bring
few times.
camping gear.
Yeah.
Had
No,
it-
you can actually rent an on-site shitty 1970s camper
Okay.
at the Hagarosa. The Hagarosa is a piece of property that guys just own to do Harley rallies on. But when they're not doing Harley rallies, it's actually a really fucking nice place to
They're
camp.
doing monkey rallies.
Well, we do a scooter rally there. Like the Buffalo people, Leslie put together a scooter rally up there that couldn't be beat for several years. And it's a short drive away from Ellicottville. So you can be at a campsite where you have a camper that you didn't bring with your motorbike or your scooter. And then you can fuck off into Ellicottville, which anytime you see a skiing center, any bar or restaurant or brewery near it will be good. You know, you're not going to eat poorly next to a ski center. Yeah, pretty badass. Really, I mean, that's a fantastic trip.
There's another pro tip. A ski area has a lot of rooms that they rent out in the wintertime.
Absolutely.
If you go there in the summertime.
Super cheap.
Yep.
Yeah, super cheap. I promise you, that is the smart money. Yeah, that's great. Traveling with Pete Hemflink has got to be an experience in getting the zinc off a penny. Like getting the copper off a penny. Just be like, well, but I don't think you're giving me all the discounts I could possibly have. How do you feel about the American Sons of Liberty Association? I have a card for them. And yeah.
I have a fake AARP card.
You have a fake? You don't need a fake ARP card. You can get a real one.
If you pay for it.
Dude. You might be onto something because they keep sending me mail. I'm like, I am not that. Oh, God.
Just find a picture of yourself, put it on that fake card, and you laminate it. Boom, you got an AARP card. I swear.
You are doing the reverse of literally a fake ID when you were 19 years old or 18 years old.
No, I swear I'm 65.
I'm faking my way in.
You go to the hotel, they say,
beard,
I give you
nobody
a discount. Yeah, that's true. They give a discount for AARP. I'm like, oh, I have my card right here.
Oh, my God.
So smart because they send you the plastic cards when they're trying to get you to sign up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like a plasticky cardboard stuff.
Yeah.
So you just put your own picture on it.
Put your picture there, laminate it. Yep.
Good to go.
You're good to go.
And who's going to challenge an ARP card?
Nobody.
So
Pete.
this is a helpful tip from Uncle Pete.
Oh, my God.
Speedy Pete.
Hearing about the FARP card was not on my bingo card this evening. That's a good one. This is good.
Here we are.
Because my grandmother gets them all the time still.
Here's my thought, though. If you got a room and you're willing to let the room go for $100 and you're trying to get $150 out of me, I'm like, what can I do to get it for $100? Exactly. Help me to help you sell a room.
Look, it's 9:35 at night. Nobody else is stopping her in the middle of nowhere. Just give me the room.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. Meet me outside in the parking lot for a smoke, and you can put this in your pocket.
No.
Right. I'll tip housekeeping.
No.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
I know you have. That doesn't surprise me one bit.
So Pete.
I've got cash money. I don't need a receipt.
I need to
Right.
sleep in
I
this
got cash money. I don't need a
receipt.
receipt.
I can sleep in this room or sleep in your parking lot. Which one do you want me to do?
I'm still getting a continental breakfast.
I got no breakfast.
Actually, Jeff and I, that's the third guy that was with us. When we went to the go-kart track, they had a nice grassy lawn there. They had picnic tables. And I said, if I wasn't in a hotel and I had camping gear, I'd be camping right here at the go-kart track. These people would let you, and it was a nice lawn, a nice setup right there. Would have been perfect.
My thing for oh yeah, fire away.
Then I would have went next door to the hotel for the free breakfast.
Yeah. I am a huge fan. Merritt and I have got our Hilton Honors card. We stay at Hamptons because of the free breakfast, and I will lay a hurt on them for the free breakfast. That's fine because bullshit hotel breakfasts are garbage for $30.
Yeah.
Right. So okay. Well, when my dumb ass is traveling cross country and I'm getting stuck in Flagstaff twice due to COVID shutting down the national parks, that sucked. I got Flagstaffed. So I ended up staying in Flagstaff for 3 extra nights trying to go through the Grand Canyon because they had the other side, the Native American side of the Grand Canyon closed because of, well, pandemic. So I had to go backwards through the Grand Canyon or backwards through Grand Canyon National Park, which puts you dumps your dumbass right back in Flagstaff. So I paid for 1 night at the Hampton. I slept in their parking lot for 3. I ate breakfast there 4 times. Yeah. And I was like, this is cost averaging.
Oh, yeah.
The second night I was there, the guy who works there was like, you're sleeping in our parking lot. And I went,
and so?
Can't prove it. Swimming in your pool, too.
So you admit I'm a guest.
I am still on property.
It's called social distancing.
Sir, I paid for a room. I have a condition where I'm more comfortable in my car at night.
Right.
And that's
exactly.
what happens. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And the one person that worked there, the one guy that worked there, he caught me bringing my bike in, stuffing my bike in the van at the end of the day. And he comes in, he goes, hey, man. And he goes, yeah. He goes, so what's your deal? And I was like, well, I'm going from Mexico to Canada. what? And I said, yeah, but I was going through Grand Canyon National Park, and I got all the way to the end of it. It's big. And they had it closed because the native reservation had just run amok with, COVID. So I couldn't get through. So I had to come back here. And the guy's like, oh, that sucks. And he goes, so are you staying at the hotel? I said, that's the best use of the term staying I've ever heard. Yes, I am staying at the hotel. That is right. I am staying at the hotel. And the guy was like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on your shit for you. Don't worry about it. He was super cool. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go in town. I'm going to run down real quick. You want me to bring you back some dinner or something? You're working here all night? And the guy's like, no, that's cool. That's great. He goes, but if you could bring me back a pack of Camels, that'd be great.
No problem.
No problem. And I brought him back a pack of smokes at like 2:00 when the bars closed. And we hung out in the parking lot. And he's like, yeah, if you want to stay here a couple more nights, don't sweat it. I got you. And I was like,
nice.
Okay, that's nice. Because Flagstaff is not as dumpy as you think it is. Flagstaff is kind of fucking Gigi.
Well, just up the road from Flagstaff, there's a place called Tuba City.
Yes.
Which is on the edge of the Navajo reservation,
Yes,
I believe.
it is.
And I slept in the jail there once. Not as I was a guest. I was not under arrest or detainment.
You
but
weren't there against your will.
I asked this sheriff or whatever, he was a native, law enforcement.
Yeah.
Hey, is it cool? Can I put my tent up here?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's probably not safe. He goes, why don't you sleep in the jail? I'm like, all right.
He was a reservation cop?
Yeah.
The light horseman.
Yeah.
So light horseman said you can sleep in the jail.
Yep.
Oh, that's a win.
Were you actually in a cell?
Yep.
Oh, that's so badass. Oh, that's great.
Nobody does it better.
I'm going to give you $20 to bring me breakfast in the morning and bang on the bars.
Did they lock you in?
No, they did not lock the door because I was like, is this guy setting me up? Is he going to slam the door?
He was like, the bed was really great. Everything was awesome. But man, I couldn't walk the next day.
Reparations, paleface. Reparations. Yeah.
If you sleep in a jail and you wake up with a condom hanging out of ass, would you ask anybody or tell anybody?
No, that's great. You can camp here.
Yeah, stay in my jail.
Or he brings you in a blanket. He wants you to be comfortable. You're like, this smells like smallpox.
Yeah.
So the next question
Smells
is,
like chlorophyll.
so what's Pete doing next?
What's the next adventure?
Oh, Jesus, man. We got, so this was a test ride for Mr. Smith because I'm
an old piece of dog shit.
We're doing Monkeys USA.
You are going to do it.
Yeah,
You're going to do Monkeys USA.
Yeah. We got five of us signed up. We're going to go to San Diego and then ride back to Cleveland from San Diego.
Wow.
Oh, that is so
No,
cool.
no. We're going to the East Coast, though.
No, we're not.
We're not going to
No, we're
touch
going
it.
right back to Cleveland.
All right. Well, fuck that. I'm not going.
So who's your team?
Chris, myself, Brother Tim, my buddy Jeff that's in Seattle.
Yep.
And Brett Baldy, guy lives here in Fairview Park.
How are you going to get your bikes out to San Diego?
We have a...
Well, I'm glad you asked, Phil.
Thank you very much. Fire away.
We've investigated many avenues for this, and we've finally settled on... we got a guy with a Toyota Tundra. Mm-hmm. We're going to one-way drag a U-Haul trailer out. We're going to dump the trailer there in San Diego, and then he's going to be our chase vehicle on the way home.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
It's going to be a hotel in it.
That's cool.
And it's like 2,400 miles to get back to Cleveland. So we figured that's 10 to 12 riding days, maybe one or two.
We're taking 30
days.
riding days.
Yeah.
I've done that trip in 39 hours.
Yeah,
Don't do
fuck
that.
you.
Well, we
Don't
plan
do
on
that.
getting out there in 39 hours.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens.
There's going to be three of us driving the truck out with a trailer.
Yeah, Red Ball Express.
And with three capable drivers and a Toyota.
And when are you going to do it? What's your time frame?
We are going to be in the San Diego on the West Coast, like the 30th of September, and we're going to head east.
Are you going to do 40 or 80?
No, we're going to stay south of there. We're probably on 10 actually.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're not going to be on the interstate. We're going to two-lane it as much as we can.
Because we're on 125s.
We know because James and I made the mistake of having that exact same plan from San Diego to Annapolis. Mm-hmm. And then our dumbasses were like, well, we have friends in Denver. Mm-hmm. And then we hit feet of snow in Grand Junction in late September.
Ouch.
Fuck that. We had it all planned out to go south of Route 10, like south of Route 40 and 10, like stay in Texas and stay low and slow. But we were like, no, this will be more fun if we take a couple of 125 cc's through the fucking Rockies. Dumb mistake. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, James was the ultimate travel partner for that because James can hide a lot of anxiety. James can hide a lot of grief. James can swallow a lot of suffering and just soldier on. And there was a lot of points on that trip where I would have left me.
Yeah.
And he didn't. Yeah, he toughed it out. That was a tough one. And that was a mistake we made going north because there's so much more interesting things to see.
Well, you got to get across the Continental Divide out there, which is, you know,
It ain't
you're
easy.
either crossing the Rockies or even if you cross it Flagstaff, that's still 8,000 feet, or Albuquerque, I think, still 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
So you got to get across that. Once we get east of that, it should be smooth sailing.
Except for the smell.
Okay.
Yeah. Cows come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to find out where they come from.
I know exactly where. Dodge City, Kansas. You can smell it from
Oh my God.
50 miles
Your
away.
nose is going to burn for 2 days. Yeah. That's cool. That's great.
So the reason we're saying this is as we're rolling through, any listeners,
Oh, that's a great idea.
we would like to connect
Yeah.
and have them reach out
Yeah.
to Cleveland
So
Moto.
if you live along San Diego to Cleveland, are you going to follow through and do coast to coast? Or are you gonna
yeah,
go-
No.
well, no.
I don't think so because
Yeah, there's no, you
that
don't need to put
adds-
cherry on top of that.
well, that means you have to drive past Cleveland
does.
to get to the East Coast. Then you got to turn around and drive back from the East Coast to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So you're realistically adding probably another week and a half to the trip.
We did that, and it was a senseless and pointless gesture that nobody appreciated other than James and I. So we could say that we went from Pacific Coast saltwater to Atlantic Coast saltwater, and nobody cares about that.
Well, we plan on lying about that anyhow.
That's a decent
so-
idea. That's a plan. That's a solid plan. You should stick to that.
The idea is probably leaving San Diego, go due east,
Yeah.
like get into Texas, maybe the panhandle of Texas, and then maybe about the Mississippi River, start swinging northward, depending on the weather. If you know,
Yeah, if you
October-
get into all those places, like, all those Mississippi river towns are fantastic. If you want to get a cool hotel, you want to get a great meal, so many cool places.
and even if we got to like Natchez, Mississippi, we might take the Natchez,
Natchez
Parkway,
Parkway, yeah.
Take the Trace up, yeah.
all the way up to Nashville.
Trace is a good trip.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I did it 10, 12 years ago.
That's
on
a
big
really
bike.
good idea.
That'd be great on the monkeys because
Yeah,
it's
it would.
40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, you guys have got me all freaked out, so I've been looking at yellow monkeys lately.
So
I don't
we'd
know
like
why
to.
I got to get a yellow one.
Well, we'd like to reach out to listeners that happen to be out that way.
Yeah.
To keep their ear out, and we'd like to hook up with you on the way through, and you can actually meet some people from Cleveland Moto Podcast.
Yeah.
Pete would like to stay in your jail cell.
But like as a guest, but not a guest.
Have you got a rubber room available? Anything, right?
I'll go all the way to Montana if I can stay in the Montana or whatever you call it. The Montana.
montage? So fucking montage.
It was great, but ridiculous. Like it was completely over the top.
The
Settle
room had
down.
its own concierge.
Have you seen the pictures? Literally, it has a button. Well, no, we found this in Jamaica. There's a button that says "Make up the room." They'll come by twice a day. They'll clean your bed in the morning and then they'll turn it down at night.
I'm the opposite, man. When I set up in a hotel room, stay the fuck out of my room.
I always put the do not disturb.
I put my own goddamn lock on. I'm bringing my own fucking lock.
Yeah.
Like, what I do in here is my business. I don't want you in here. I want to leave my shit out of my bag. I travel with very little shit. I can't afford to lose any of it.
I'm getting really accustomed to going on those trips and getting a massage because I literally lift 300 pounds at a time. Like you saw me today, just busting tires all day.
Oh yeah.
And after that, I'm like, oh, they have a cold soak and they have a sauna. And
Tom came back
I'm
from
getting
his
spoiled.
Tom came back from his trip, and every day he was gone on his trip, the phone wouldn't stop ringing for people that needed service.
Oh, yeah, it was
So when
piled.
Tom came back, there's a fucking litany of bikes that need serviced. And so Tom has been just slinging wrenches in the back. And I was like, today a guy hung out in my shop and just 100% got like the Unky Phil experience. Had he told me in the beginning, had he just said at minute number 1, hey, the ultimate end of this goal is I want you to put a new rear tire in my Honda Ruckus, Tom would have had it done.
Oh yeah, it takes me
Before the guy got to his second old story about when he was a kid. But instead, he waited until the very end to tell us, oh, by the way, he needs us to do a tire on his monkey or his ruckus.
I'm not quite sure I can do it blindfolded.
Oh, man.
But I think it takes me about 20 minutes to
I
do a tire on
felt
a
guilty
ruckus.
charging that guy money, except for the fact he monopolized 2 hours of my time, right? In the front of the
Because I
showroom.
rolled the bike back and rolled it back up front and had the tire changed, and you came
And the
out and you're
exhaust
like,
was still warm.
and you're like,
Yeah.
is it done? It took me like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I have rebuilt so many rucki.
Let's not tell people how short it takes us to do back
Well,
tire
no,
on a ruckus.
because you're paying for the service.
We're paying
This is
for
a
the
service.
Right. We're paying for the experience
You're not
of being
paying for
able
the
to do
amount of
that.
time
Right.
it takes me to do a service.
Yeah, we're paying for the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying.
You tried doing it in 15 minutes.
I've been aggressively pursuing a couple of people that I know that
watch.
have yellow monkeys. I don't know what it is. I suddenly became interested in yellow monkeys.
There's only one thing I went off of a yellow monkey Honda.
Just like your
I went to front forks off of one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the gold
front
forks
the
on my
gold
red
front
monkey.
forks.
you need the yellow
Yes.
gold wing and the yellow monkey.
Yeah, the gold front forks.
Guess
You've
who
always
hit-
wanted a yellow gold wing, right?
I have. I wanted an
F6B.
F6B. Yeah, absolutely.
Guess who has a yellow monkey?
What? I mean, is somebody selling a yellow monkey? I'm looking for somebody who's selling a yellow monkey. Yeah, I'm working on that angle.
I'm gonna show you something about this yellow monkey right here that I don't know if you'll pick out right away.
Yep. Talk to me.
That one has rear foot pegs, which
does.
they've used as
Pannier
luggage mounts.
Yeah, that's true.
So the American monkeys did not have any rear foot
but
pegs.
the Japanese ones did.
Well, I think all other markets did. I
that's
shouldn't
true,
say all
because-
other markets, but certain other markets did come
Because
with.
it would be impossible to consider any American would fit on the back of a monkey.
Correct.
It's still impossible to believe that any American could fit on a monkey.
But I would like to find a pair of those sets right there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I go 250
bite,
these
dude.
days.
I'm also going to tell you who this monkey belongs to right here.
Well, because this is kind of a famous monkey.
That is.
Right.
And I believe it's owned by Honda now.
Oh, is it?
I think they traded
really?
him a brand new yellow Africa Twin.
For Sousa's monkey?
Yep.
So Sousa's monkey turned into an Africa Twin.
I believe so, because he is now touring
that.
on a yellow Africa Twin, and I think he has the only yellow
Yeah, it did.
Africa
That
Twin.
evolved like a son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like him a
That's
yellow
something.
Africa Twin. That'd be all right.
Oh, wow. The fact that they could upgrade him from a monkey, he said it was 60,000 kilometers to go around the world on a monkey. Wow. 60,000 kilometers. That is a lot.
Pete and I talked to that guy.
Yeah, we met him in Morocco.
In Morocco.
Yep.
Right, in Morocco.
Just as he was finishing his trip.
Yeah. There's a really good story about his quest on the ADV, the Adventure Rider site. It's a little old, but it's fantastic. If you get the opportunity to read it, it's a fun story.
Ooh.
Yep, there he
Would
is.
not kick him out of bed for eating crackers.
If he needs a place to stay, Sean. What are you saying? Right. Yeah. What you're saying is if
My
he
jail
needs,
cell is open.
When in town,
Can you park in your garage, Sean?
when he's just hanging around, right?
See a windshield though?
However much you can fit in there.
Yeah, he had a windshield on that unit too.
Yeah, there's a website that he did it's in Portuguese though. But that's the Ride That Monkey. Ride That Monkey is the name of the website where
Sean,
he
do you
basically
speak
gives
Portuguese?
Don't threaten me with a good time. What'd you say?
Do you speak Portuguese?
No, but I feel like I could figure it out.
You can probably figure it out, right?
There's only one language he
I was
needs to
going to
know.
say that's
Yeah. So
universal.
Right there's his yellow Africa Twin.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there's
What's with
absolutely
the front of it. What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
that?
tent. Okay, I see.
yeah.
Can you highlight that? Is that a picture or is it a? I'd like to
That's
see this
a
Africa
link to a
Twin.
video, but we can open up a new tab. We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
you don't have to. You don't have
It's
to
okay.
open
We'll
a
go
video.
for it. Oh shit! Yeah,
We're gonna
buddy.
get demonetized.
No, we won't. We're good. We're
I
fine.
just wanted to see the Africa Twin.
Well, I think what's the takeaway
funny
is
part
this
is you
is
think we're worth
he's
money.
the takeaway from this is that he's going 180 kilometers per hour on the salt, and I've done that, and that is that's a party. Going over 100 miles per hour on that salt, I've done that. It's
Speaking of,
that's a day.
so when my buddy Jeff was in town before we did the monkey ride around Lake Erie, we went down to Ohio State University. He's a graduate there.
Is he a Bobcat?
No, Ohio State.
Oh, so he's a Buckeye.
okay.
So,
all right.
but we went to the Center for Automotive Research.
Yes.
Have you been there?
Oh, it's
You
one of
heard-
my favorite places ever.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the university students there just got back from the Bonneville Salt Flats the night before we were there, where they set a new land speed record for an unfaired electric bike, 158 miles an hour.
Whoa,
And we got to
for
see the
unfaired.
bike. They had just brought the bike off the trailer hours before we got there. So we got to talk to some of the students
And they had
that's
some really
not
cool
fucking around,
projects
dude.
there. They have something called the Buckeye Bullet, which goes 341 miles an hour, I think is the record. They have the autonomous cars, self-driving cars. They have the solar cars that go for the, hypermiling, solar. Yep. So all these things there, all
Ohio State University is one of the institutions that has taken that electric vehicle research and really run with it. The idea, the fastest I've ever gone on the salt is 112 miles per hour. And it is not like going 112 miles per hour on concrete or asphalt. It's like going 112 miles per hour on snow. It's the best way I can describe it. And little things become big things really fast. And it's terrifying. You get in your head in a whole different way.
And that was when you were in the Tundra.
I did Tundra and I did motorcycle too.
Yeah.
And I've done it 2 different ways. And the Tundra, I was going 112. On the motorcycle, I'd only got up to about 103, 105. And I can promise you, and I also did a little blast on a scooter at 60 miles an hour with 10-inch wheels. And I don't fucking recommend that either, because that amplifies the whole small wheels, slippy problem. It does feel like snow. It doesn't feel like concrete. It feels like snow. And there's not much to grip onto with that. That's badass right there. That's super cool. I love that.
So P.D. Spalding, military-wise, he was a...
Oh, yeah. He was a tanker also. So
Really?
Yep.
That explains the
in
desire
Germany.
to be uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like you talked about, James suffers very well.
Yes.
Jeff Spalding, that's his.
Right.
Sometimes I call him Jeff, sometimes Spalding.
Right.
One person the same.
Right. Same guy.
Suffers very well.
He suffers
So,
well.
Just like you said with James. Like snow, cold, hot, rain, whatever.
Yeah.
He'll do the monkey trip just fine. Now, Chris, we're a little worried about.
Yeah.
So
I go a day and a half.
Do you
and
route the trap? You're like, okay, P brake, P brake, P brake. Yeah.
Well, those bikes go 100 miles on a tank of
Right,
gas.
yeah.
So 100 miles, you stop, you pee, you eat, you fill up.
That's how
Another
we
100
went
miles.
across America on the Mad Ass. We did it literally at 79 miles. We were switching to reserve. And at 79 miles at freeway speeds, you're switching to reserve. And that means you get about 7 to 10 miles once you're on reserve. So our cyclic time was very fast. We didn't have a whole lot of time between rider changes. So you couldn't really get into the idea of like into the rhythm, so to speak, of doing the ride. You felt like you're doing your whole goddamn time doing costume changes. Because once we got into cold weather, it became more shit you had to put on every time you'd stop the bike. And it was a handful. Yeah. It's interesting. That's super cool, man. I love it.
Wait, so you met this guy?
That fella right there.
Oh, was he nice?
But where did you meet him?
Like, was he friendly?
we met him in
He was gregarious, I would say.
Oh,
He's a super animated guy.
okay.
in Morocco.
In Marrakesh, yeah.
Nice.
So he was finishing his 3-year round-the-world monkey tour, and he was going northbound in Africa. And so he was in Marrakesh. He was going to cross into Portugal and have his homecoming back to his hometown in Portugal, like 2 weeks after we ran into him.
So who do you meet in Texas?
Yeah, funny story.
So get this. This is cool.
So I'm talking to this guy, and I said, what route did you take through the United States? What did you think of the United States? What do you think of the people? What were your favorite foods? Things like that.
Yeah.
And he said, well, there's a guy in Texas that actually like made me his adopted son. He said, I stayed with him for 10 days, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no shit. I said, well, this guy, what was his name? And he tells me the guy's name, and it's a shirt tail relative of mine. The guy owns a Moto museum in Dallas. He's originally from Cleveland here. He's like he invented some sort of steel treatment industrial process or something. Did very well for himself, and now he has this sprawling compound in Texas with a Moto museum and a guest house.
Dang. Well, that's very cool.
And so so we had to call him and say, guess where I am, guess who I'm with. And
Right. Yeah, you got to pull that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's
Small
cool, man.
world story.
It is small world. That is the best. I mean, when you run into somebody on the other side of the planet who's doing something and you're like, wow, I'd really love to do that, or I think that'd be really cool.
Thank you, sir.
Hang out, meet him, talk to him, spend some time with him.
This guy told stories. We went out to dinner with him, and he told stories like the whole time, very animated in his storytelling, very entertaining storyteller. Really, really.
The guy spends a lot of time inside his helmet just wishing to run into somebody he could talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. There's something there. That's fucking cool. Yeah, that's great. I bet his website now is completely 100% Africa Twin. He's apparently sworn off the monkey.
Well, he was done South America on Africa Twin, and I think he was heading towards Alaska.
Yeah, he has the world record for circumnavigating South America on a 125.
Wow.
And there's a lot of parts of South America that aren't friendly to bikes or walking or anything else. So that's really saying something. Yeah, good for him.
But I wonder how much easier it is though, just by being able to like sneak it in buildings and like, it's not a big bike. You can kind of keep it with you.
And as I found out, if you stay small, if your footprint is really tiny and you're not part of a group of 25 people that are doing a thing, they're just like, yeah, just fucking go along. Just go along. And we got caught going across a border, and they literally said, if you wait here for 3 hours, shift change is going to happen. And when shift change happens, we fully expect you to leave. The next shift, you're not going to become the next shift's problem. And Renee and I sat in a holding cell because we were bringing a motorcycle across from Canada that we might not should have been bringing. And the guys just said, he goes, look, we don't have enough here to charge you for anything. However, when shift change happens in about 3 hours, we fully expect when we get up to leave, that's your cue to get up to leave too. And everybody's going to go home and everybody's going to be cool. And Renee was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I said, no. And now watch this, because they're Canadians. Hey, since you told us we're going to be here for the next 3 hours, can you bring us some lunch? And they're like, okay, yeah. and they did. They straight up, they disappeared and they came back and they brought us covered dishes with food, because they were like, well, if you're going to be here for 3 hours, we're going to feed you. Yeah. And they gave us our phones back and let us do that kind of stuff, plug our phones in and everything else. But I couldn't go out to my truck and get in my truck because they had a motorcycle in the back of the truck that wasn't old enough to get into America yet. And they were very much, because you're small and because you're very minor on the radar, just kind of like, okay, when shift changes, that's it. You're not our problem anymore.
This has been your penalty. You got screwed for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, and we made the mistake of pulling you over, and we can't let you go. So if you get lost in the shuffle between the two shifts, so be it. Oops.
I wonder how much paperwork that is for him.
It's got to be terrible.
Right?
It's got to be awful.
Yeah.
For no payday at the end of it, because we're like, it's a junk bike.
Right.
If you try to say it's worth $50, I'm going to fight you on that.
Right. Like, there's no, like, they didn't get the Coke King.
Right.
They didn't get a thing of weed or anything like that. They got a dude sneaking in a shitty bike that's like 2 years from being legal.
That's true. They didn't get $90,000 of fentanyl.
No.
They got a guy bringing a $500 scooter.
Oh, I got a gimme Mazda Protege one time after a Babe rally.
Oh yeah, that's
Canadian market.
Canadian market.
And the problem was I literally could not register the car, but because there was so much I have a car that is from Cleveland. It is Cleveland rot.
Yeah.
And Canadian rot is a whole different level.
Well, yeah.
And this car, when you would shift it, because it was a 5-speed, it was a great car. It was not that old, but you would shift gears, and the entire motor would just go, and the transmission, the gear shift would go up about a foot.
Yeah.
It was a great car, but I couldn't keep it. And
nothing about what you said has great and car in the same sentence at all. Everything you've said so far is death trap.
I kept it for a couple of months.
Exactly what was great about it?
No, it only had like
Can you pin that down for
it had
me?
like 80,000 miles. It had
It's a great car.
It had
That's
no
great.
mileage on it.
It had
the best
cancer
part
up to the fucking B
Oh, it
pillars.
did.
What
It
kind of
really
car
did.
is it?
It was
Mazda
a Mazda Protege 5.
Oh, the Protege
That's not a
5.
good
And-
car.
Well, it was a station wagon.
They were good for their
But
day.
it was hysterical because I tried.
Until they had cancer.
I literally tried to
Right,
register
yeah.
the car, and they were like, "Yeah, it's fine. All you gotta do is take it to the port in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Pay like $2,500. You have to have a notarization of the guy from Canada that you got it from for free.
Oh, yeah.
Because his intent was to abandon it. And finally, at the end of the day, I like put it on Marketplace for $1,000, and a tribe of, and I'm not kidding, Mexicans showed up.
Yeah.
Looked at it for 5 minutes, realized how little mileage it had on it. We're like, okay, here's your money, bye. They fucked off and took it apart.
And we know where they are because you can follow the bolts from the
yeah.
exhaust system. Yeah. Right. Everything is just
Yeah.
pointing to where they went.
They all kind of rusted out over the wheels pretty bad.
That transmission, I guarantee you, is still rolling around in like a Mazda B5000 truck or something.
There's nothing left of that car. All right. Anybody else got anything else?
Well, so Phil,
Oh god,
you know, I want to reiterate that Speedy Pete here and I and Spalding and the guys that are going cross country. We're looking for folks that might be along on the way. Come back into ClevelandMoto.
Yeah.
.com.
Let's put your number up on the screen for people to see it.
So what's the start date? Start date. Give me a start.
October 1st.
You know
October
what?
1.
You guys
All
should
right.
do this. Build a Gmail account for this trip.
Yes.
And that way you can tell the listeners to email you guys on the Gmail account.
Absolutely.
And that way you're able to communicate and you're not giving any personal information
Right.
out.
Monkey
You're
Business
in
USA.
charge of that, Cinch.
Well, you know how
No,
to
it's
do
so
that,
easy.
right?
Monkey Business USA.
I can probably pull that up.
2024. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you, it's not taken.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. If you literally spend 5 minutes and set up Monkey Business USA 2024 or whatever,
That's a
you
good
could
job
have
for
that.
Spalding.
There you go. It's fun. It's more fun though if some people say, "Hey, you want to pop into my place?"
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
more fun.
Stop
Yeah.
in for dinner, you know.
I'm gonna park in my garage.
My wife is
Available.
So I got two things.
Yeah.
One, Sean talked about his new car,
Yes.
but we skipped over one of the greatest things that I've ever heard from anybody doing with a custom license plate in a long time.
Well,
Okay,
So, Sean, what
hold
happened
on. I am like ever so slightly hesitant to talk about it because Ohio still sort of could tell me no.
I disagree.
not gonna listen
you
to
don't
this
think?
podcast.
Yeah, well, that's
No.
true. All right,
Yeah.
that's fair.
If there's somebody at the DMV listening to this podcast, they were going to support your choice.
Well, I hope so. Anyway, so the car is this boost blue, like kind of bright blue color, kind of akin to like Ford's Grabber blue. You know, it's a blue that's
Like
also
when you
kind
see
of
your car, you go blue.
blue.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a trendy blue right now too. It's on a couple things, but I particularly loved it.
Little boy Bluey needed the money.
And there's a myriad, of course, of things that you could do with that license plate that I had thought of. But I am kind of an Arrested Development fan, and one of the best gags on the show is Tobias Funke and him. He blew himself,
Right.
You know, with
He
the Blue Man
blew
group.
himself, all right.
I'm afraid I just blew myself. And I thought, well, I could maybe do that if I can figure out how to fit it in there, which nothing I'm terribly new to either. So I gave it its BLUMSLF. So it looks like Bloom, like, and on the like what your reasoning for the plate is. And this was in person at the BMV. I wrote family name because I thought they might look at Bloom.
Nice. That's
Right. And I was like, oh, well, if they would have asked, I would have been like, oh, my, great whoever was Bloom. And,
right.
Really
Nah, they don't
calling
care.
back to that. But the girl read it back to me. She was like, BLUMSLF. Okay, here you go.
Nice.
So I just blew myself. And that plate will, I have it on a piece of paper in the back now.
No, you're
but
legit.
it'll-
No, when they printed that paper out,
Yeah, so I'm
You
also
became
gonna
legit.
I'm gonna get a little decal of the blue frozen banana stand to put next to.
Yes.
So in case somebody is like, "What?"
That's great.
So if you've heard a nonstop for the past few minutes, that is because you're only a $5 Patreon member.
right. Yeah, and you're also not an Arrested Development fan. We put graphic training aids up on the video monitors so people at home can understand what we're talking about. Once you see it, you'll understand. It's a Blue Man thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty rad. That's fucking great. And Blue myself is brilliant for that
I
blue car.
was very happy when you
is.
presented
Thank
that.
you.
So good. Yeah. Yeah. Fun with vanity plates, right?
Right.
We got numbers.
So,
Yeah.
and then the other thing that I had, which I talked to you about yesterday, I'm pretty excited about this. So we got a year, we got some time to work on this, but for Mid-Ohio next year, on Friday night, when they shut the band down, or the thing down at
this
11:30, we're having the Cleveland Moto sing-along.
Because we know that
yeah.
Friday night, when you hear the dulcet tones of Careless Whisper,
Right.
when you hear the saxophone,
It's over.
that's when the Kentucky Corner shuts down.
Right.
That is when the ClevelandMoto Kentucky Corner is saying goodnight for the night, because Friday night, it's quiet time at midnight.
Right.
So when you hear Careless Whisper and you hear that, you know that Sleepy's about to start.
Well, and me and John this year, like he came over, like I was playing, and then a bunch of people sat down, we were singing and playing, and then John came over, and we played a couple songs that like we kind of knew together, and then there's, people joined in. So I thought if we had a year, and in a few months or so, we pick like 10 songs, give out the key in the song. Anybody wants to bring whatever, a trash can, a fucking bongo, a fucking whatever,
Accordion.
and we'll just do some jamming.
The idea of there being a 10-song playlist for the Vintage Motor Days, the AMA VMD Jam Band,
right,
which is what it is.
Yeah, there's no reason why there's not a picking party.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. And the thing is it's not going to be loud. You know, it's all acoustic. Nobody bring a fucking half stack.
We're not going to be amped.
And they're flying V.
A guy literally shows up with a doof truck.
Yeah. The dude from the Doom Squad across. Like, no, you know, just we want to keep it like
acoustical.
Acoustical because it's midnight, you know. But I think it'll be fun.
But if you know there's going to be 10 tracks,
yeah,
and if you give out, I mean, look, the music's everywhere, right?
Right.
The music's everywhere. It's easy to get, and even if you suck, because I suck, you give me a fake book, and I can work my way out.
Well, I'll do. You know what I'll do?
Psycho
Is, just
killer.
like I told them. I'll set up an email account, and then when if you want to participate, just email us, and I will send out.
And
the
we
songs.
have the Cleveland Moto Podcast Facebook group.
I have a video projector. You could probably screencast it like karaoke.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Just put the like an ultimate guitar
You
up.
pick the right.
I didn't think about that. That's brilliant.
But
John.
you pick the right song, and people won't need the words.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is this isn't going to be Sleepy's like
It'd
B-sided
be the words, the
bluegrass
music,
shit.
the chords, and everything.
Yeah.
So anybody can play along.
Well,
I
you
agree.
know,
Yeah.
like something like she's a da-da-da woman, you know, shit like that, like stuff that everybody knows.
It costs
Cold-hearted
nothing
woman,
for me to bring a 35-inch one of these.
Right.
Because you know what? You know what?
There's one sitting right here I haven't used in at least 5 years.
And there's one sitting in the back of my pickup truck that went to Mid-Ohio that we never plugged in.
Right.
And so there's one that we already brought with us for no good reason.
Screw that. We're playing Super Mario next year.
Well,
Super
there you
Mario
go.
Kart.
Sure, why not?
Well, people can do that. Well, we're thinking.
But I love the idea, though, of having it be literally having it be a jam session.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of putting out 10 tracks so that at midnight.
People can prepare if you want to just, you know, that way it's not just a sloppy shit fuck.
Exactly.
It's a little fun, you know,
No,
a little
it's
something.
No, that's Saturday night.
Some of us, I feel like somebody here might like a sloppy.
I said that was Saturday night, didn't I?
But the idea is so great because, too, once you run it,
Yeah.
okay, we know what the set list is going to be.
Yep.
Check. If you got something, bring it. You've got plenty of time to noodle it out.
Right.
You got plenty of time to noodle it out. If you've got some time to go into it, the difference between sight reading and having that shit polished is about 2 weeks.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Just what I'm saying. Just
Right.
get familiar with it. It's still going to be a campfire thing. Nobody's expecting
course.
perfection, but
But you got 20. You get 20 people showing up
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun.
with with 6-string, 4-string, 3-string, no string guitars.
See if we.
You're gonna have a good time.
If we
Now,
had anything,
anybody shows up with a stand-up bass and they get a free bottle of something. Because stand-up basses are awesome.
They're hard to transport, is what they are.
see
If
if we,
they show up on a fucking motorcycle with a stand-up bass, well then.
I promise you, somebody will show up with a wash pan.
I'm down. That's
Wash
fine.
tub. Yeah, they'll show up with a wash
Washboard.
tub.
Fuck yeah.
No, you do the
I think there'll be more than one washboard.
No, you do the whole Emmett Otter
I
thing
think
with
literally-
the You've seen Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
One of the
With
greatest
hole in the
movies of
wash
all-
tub thing. Yeah, you stand up with that.
I'm all for River Bottom Nightmare bands.
Yeah,
for what it's worth. Yeah, okay.
did somebody say river bottoms? No. If we had anything brassy, I could bring my horn.
Oh no, I promise you, if he picks any 10 songs,
Sean, I was going to make an Otter
Thank-
joke.
Oh yeah,
Sean, go ahead and bring your horn.
perfect.
you were gonna do it, but I'm glad you ought to not do that.
Yeah.
But that was just for you, Sean.
But just for Dan's purpose though, bagpipes are banned. No bagpipes.
Oh, fuck you. Bagpipes are good. I like bagpipes.
Those are for the wake up.
Boo this man. Yeah,
But all the
that is the
banjos.
morning. All the
I
banjos.
said it's the definition of perfect pitch.
Right.
When you throw the banjo out the window and it lands on the bagpipes. That's perfect pitch.
We could have the banjos fight the bagpipes.
Oh, wow. Fuck that.
I think there's a couple things in history about the Scots and the
One thing I just
that
love
battle.
the idea of this is it's so easy because we know so many people that are honestly talented
Yeah,
musicians.
Kurt, we're talking to you.
And we
we're
also
talking
know a
to-
bunch of hacks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
But a hack with 6 months preparation time
sure.
can be presentable.
Right. And I'm gonna
And
bring
a 10-song set list.
and if we get this shit down, I'm gonna
have to get Shane out with some of that gutter or singing. Yeah,
sure. But what I was thinking is too is with the Mid-Ohio song, I'll put the lyrics and the music up for that, and,
And
we
the
can have a
Mid-Ohio
big
song is
Mid-O-
fantastic because the magic of that is we could literally just put a video to the Mid-Ohio song.
Right. That's the thing, and have everybody do it.
Provided by the
People
partisans of Mid-Ohio.
Right. And I think that's the fitting, that should be the video for
I
that
agree.
song. Right.
I completely agree.
remember
Let's do it justice.
Remember how Jacko used to play the chainsaw? Well, okay, so we get a two-stroker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's supposed to
work that in.
Cutting
Yeah.
Yeah,
calls.
we will do that drum and bass song. Is it gonna move?
I ain't jacked my lumber, baby, since my chainsaw you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the
you
best
know
line
what?
of that whole song.
And he was in that Full Throttle TV show. Jesse James McGee or whatever the fuck his name
Hey man,
is.
that's cool. He got there too early for Jesse James.
Yeah.
He was just a little too early.
Yeah.
Like the novelty of his name didn't hit like it did for
Jesse James.
the meth dealing chopper builder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's actually related though, right?
I don't know.
I think he is.
I don't.
I don't think the other one is.
There's two
Yeah,
ways to go
so
with
he
this.
says.
I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I don't know.
And doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change anything.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyways, that's going to happen
That's
next year.
fun.
Next Friday. No,
I
I mean
love
next
the-
year
I
Friday.
love the idea.
Practice begins next week.
But hey, wait. How are we going to pick the perfect 10-song playlist?
Open to suggestions.
Fan submissions.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
open
I'm
to
thinking that
suggestions.
10 songs just screams.
you could put a poll out.
Yeah, poll fans,
That's true. We
That's
could have,
true.
we have a couple
we have the
submissions.
Facebook. We have the Facebook.
We put a couple of polls.
We can make a poll.
Yeah, see, Sean's already pole dancing.
He's already working the poll.
There's going to be some executive decisions.
No, that's working the shaft, Sean. That's working the shaft.
There's going to be a few executive decisions, but we can definitely slide in a few.
But I
you
do
know?
love the idea of the CD that we can produce that's called Now That's What I Call VMD.
Oh my! Now that's what I call VD.
That's what I call VD. Vintage Days.
yeah.
Now that's what I call Vintage Days. We'll just abbreviate it to Now That's What I Call VD. Yeah.
You know what, though?
I
If
would
we
like
do-
to nominate the Dukes of Hazzard theme song as one of them, maybe.
I'm
Oh,
in.
the Waylon Jennings.
Yeah, Waylon Jennings.
Just a good old boy. Yeah, I'm in. That's good.
I will participate in the brass chorus for that song.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Kajagoogoo. Too shy to shine.
Hush, hush,
I would.
Oh, by the way, dangerous song for the makeout pit at United States of America.
I was gonna go with the rodeo song myself.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's 40 below and I don't give a fucking hear my truck.
There you go.
That's purely, that's
That's a very
acapella.
That's a picking song.
You think back to like the
that's a
early,
VD song for sure.
the early 80s though, like right, like when we were kind of experiencing like, the early things of new
When
wave
we
and
first
punk
getting the
rock.
experience, yeah.
It was kind of weird. Like, did you ever go to the Akron Agora back then?
Yes.
So they'd have like the metal bands playing all night, and then they'd give the punk kids 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so like
a
all
little
the
sliver.
So we'd all sit in the corner just waiting for our fucking 30 minutes.
Right.
Like, oh, come on.
Pent up.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you'd hear like
pent
Susie
up.
and the band. She'd be like, oh.
Go batch it. I think it's a great idea, Sleepy.
Yeah, it'd be
I
fun.
love it.
There's no reason to not have a picking party there. I mean, that's just the way. And I'm sure there's about 17 already.
You know what?
going
Well,
on.
this is what I noticed. I noticed a lot of people around on Friday when that shit shut down. Like, should we be here? Do they want us to be here? Should we go? Like, and it kind of slowly murdered away. You
And
know?
thanks to our neighborhood, they got to walk through our neighborhood anyway.
Yeah.
right.
So if they're trying to go home,
Right. So this
yeah.
way, now
They
they
gotta pay-
know
they gotta pay a
that,
tax.
that you
Yeah.
are cordially invited, that we do want you there, and
Well,
we're
that's-
going to hang out.
And that's been our thing is that next year we kind of want to make this a little bit bigger community attached, like adjacent to Kentucky Corner. Because
did you
we
say
took
hot
up-
dog cannon?
Exactly. We will fire wieners in
Don't
your face.
threaten me with a great time.
There's nothing but wieners
We're
coming at
gonna
your face.
Fire wieners at your face.
Sleepy Cinches, Cleveland Moto, good time sing along.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Sleepy, get on that shirt.
I love that idea.
We're gonna put a pin in that one because I need
love
that.
that idea.
We're talking about merch anyway. We need this, and it needs to be
lock
that
that down.
70s font where it's
Wait.
the big bubbles.
I'm picturing
yeah.
something like the Rolling Stones' Great Rock and Roll Circus. You know?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Very good idea.
With wieners.
With okay. Actually, wieners.
I am going to wear spandex. That's important.
I think you should do the full cheech.
Yep.
Tutu.
Scaramouche.
That could be one of the songs.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I like Psycho Killer.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Psycho Killers.
No, what's the gosh, what is that one where he's on the stage? The Cheech song where he's on stage.
Mexican American.
No, the hair metal one.
Oh, the hair metal,
Big,
yes.
big. Yeah, gosh, it's been too long.
Tacos or
Mexican radio.
There's so many, but getting
yes.
10. Getting a 10
We gotta
playlist.
whittle it down.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to have to establish a couple of rules. Freebird or no freebird.
Right. No wagon wheel.
Right?
No wagon wheel.
Okay.
You know, everybody.
Hotel California.
No how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be rules. You gotta have rules.
Campbell?
What's that?
Glenn Campbell?
I'm not against you, Glenn
Rhinestone
Campbell.
Cowboy?
Right.
Rhinestone
Right.
Cowboy?
Yes.
I love Rhinestone.
Everyone loves Rhinestone Cowboy.
Maybe sneak a little John Denver in there.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky Mountain High. Yeah.
Well, Wichita Lineman, I think, might that might
Oh, that's
be.
a great song,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
I can see it in German.
How many Neil Diamonds are we allowed to have?
Oh.
No more than one.
Anybody sings Country Road, I will personally throat punch them.
Not for nothing. I'm with you.
That's
I
not
will
Neil
personally
Diamond.
punch
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. We don't need any Take Me Home Country Roads. We don't need any of that.
I will
And for
just
Neil
John
Diamond,
Denver.
do you want to do Delilah? Or do you want to do Sweet Caroline? Because with Sweet Caroline, you get everybody joining
Because
in.
the chorus line.
Bum, bum.
It's so
That could be dangerous, though. That could draw too many people.
That's true.
Cliche.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It's crocheted.
But that's the thing, too. Like,
give the people what they want.
right.
Give the people what they need.
Right. Exactly.
Throat punch?
I'll
We're back to
put
this
some-
again.
I'll put some thought
No,
into
that's
this.
Lemmy Kilmister.
What I want to do is I want to present songs that are familiar to everybody,
Right,
but also not played out. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's going to be a fine line of that kind of thing. But suggestions
So what
are
you're
welcome.
saying is 4 chords.
Who's the decider?
Hey, there ain't no money above the 3rd fret.
That's right. That's exactly it. I promise you.
Mr. Brightside. Yeah.
If you've got
What white girl wedding?
if you've got 6 months,
Sleepies.
you can learn 4 chords.
I mean, Vincent Black Shadow might be a fun song to play.
Vincent Black Shadow.
Actually, you know
If
what?
you can make it through without crying.
That'd be a good one, is to come up with more motorcycle centric songs instead of just random.
But we want to have everybody have
But
fun.
everyone needs
Right.
to be able to sing
Yeah,
along.
yeah. So
And
we'll
I know
figure-
3 people can sing along to Vincent Black Shadow.
Like, we have time.
White Rabbit's been one of my favorites.
So
I'll
this
get
is
with
going to be
John.
all acoustic, right?
Yeah.
No,
So if people want to bring drums,
No, actually,
Bring
now
a
hold
bongo
on.
or something.
well,
I
I'm
absolutely
asking.
love that. And Chris, that's a great thing because we were talking about that yesterday. When we were shooting our little video yesterday, we were cheesing this idea around a little bit. And I was like, look, I think we should definitely encourage people to bring like literally a 5-gallon pail.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
And to bring, even a practice
Sticks,
pad.
bring sticks. Yeah.
Bring sticks because you got to have you got to have that.
And this is the thing.
Bongos for sure. Absolutely.
The whole point of this is to have fun.
Yeah.
That's the only point. So like, it
That's all it is.
doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
it just.
Bring what you got.
Yeah, if you got a kid and he wants to hit sticks together,
17-piece
fucking let him at it.
kazoo orchestra.
If that bodhrán you bought one time at Renaissance Fair is sitting there gathering dust, bring it the fuck out.
Tom, you better bone up on your fucking accordion.
I know, right?
Yeah, don't have that in the background. You've got 6 months to figure out
That's
10
true.
songs.
Learn G, C, D, and A, dude.
God
You're
damn.
fine. You're fine.
I'm thinking ukulele myself.
Superstar by the Carpenters.
I'll stop eating now.
Right. Oh, you gotta
Mike.
get just
That's so good. All right. Well, I think we've got something going here. Now, remember the Good Time Band thing. We have to get this merch out real quick.
Yeah. You know what though? I may have to run off. I may have to run off 100 kazoos. 100 Cleveland Moto kazoos.
Well, that's good.
I'll
That's a
make
good
a phone
idea, though.
call.
You know?
What's the kazoo song? Because then we'll have to play.
Who
like
cares?
No,
You give kazoos to people, then they participate.
Every song is a kazoo song.
Very good.
There's like
Very
an
good,
actual
Phil.
kazoo song that's very fun to
I
play
want
with
to
a
buy the
kazoo.
world a Coke.
They're all kazoo songs.
You know what? You know what? This is
just
better.
Just outside of Buffalo, they make kazoos.
That's
It's the
where they're
only,
made.
it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
only American
Yep.
kazoo.
I will
Play.
order.
This is the
I
way
will
to
order
go.
a gross of
This
those
is
and
the
we'll
way to
hand them
go.
out to people. Because
for you.
This way you can participate.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And that's the point.
Yep. I have been to events where in the little gift bag or whatever, I was like, why is there a kazoo in the gift bag? And then I realized that like halfway through the ceremonies, they were like, all right.
Very nice.
And folks, you're going to notice that in your gift bag, you got a kazoo. So whip it out. Oh, yeah. And it turns out when 700 people are playing kazoos, it sounds pretty great.
Sure
Yeah.
it does.
And
Oh God, now I'm seeing like juice harps and harmonicas showing up.
yes, exactly.
Damn.
Dude, anybody show up with a juice harp and you get to sit next
You
to
mean
me.
a jaw harp. I know what you're
I
saying,
get ya.
but we're careful about that.
Yeah. I fucking love those things, dude.
Right? Yeah, I got a bunch at the house.
Nice.
We can run that shit all day long.
God.
I
And
did.
you know what? We'll do that until your teeth hurt.
Well, that's what I lost a half a tooth on
I
one
know.
of those.
Believe me.
You're not playing it right.
Yeah, apparently not.
Why has this one got hair in it?
The mouth harp tickled the back of my throat too much.
Sorry about that.
That's awful. Oh man.
Wait a minute, that's not a mouth harp, that's a cock ring.
Bum, bum.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. All right. That's fair enough.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do that.
a good idea.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Right. Go back to the how we started this shit
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
that-
yeah,
it's a
anyway,
good idea.
Message. What was it? Pete? You came up with the name. What's the name?
Sleepy Cinch's good time. Cleveland Moto good time band.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think
a
we
great
leave the
idea.
cinch out because that's too clunky.
Just Sleepy's.
Sleepy's, yeah.
Sleepy's Cleveland Moto good time
Cleveland
band.
Moto
Yeah,
it's
good
there it is.
time band.
There
This
you
is
go.
actually a really that's actually really good and really tight.
Yeah, and we already have
Settle down, Tom.
our mascot Tanuki.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean,
No,
that's
it's-
that.
he's good.
that's the-
Let's
the
write-
art
We got to
prince
bring out the
itself.
Tanuki.
Oh, we're gonna bring out some
yeah.
Tanuki. Yeah. So anyway, one of our podcast listeners
Uh-oh.
sent us what's in this box.
10mm sockets.
Jesus Christ, it's gonna be 10mm sockets.
It's in this very fine handcrafted wooden box.
Wow.
An actual wooden box. And if it wasn't a wooden box, it wouldn't make this sound. Okay. So,
Hey, Sleepy, do the thing.
to the podcast listener,
What thing?
at the table today,
You're with the cheek.
who can tell us? That's never not funny. No. So, to the podcast listener here at the table, who can tell me what the original MSRP was in 1988 without going over for a 1000cc BMW R100 RT 1988 without going over. You can either give me the MSRP or you can give me the outdoor price, but you must tell me you're giving me the MSRP or the outdoor price.
Out the door price $69.50.
Okay? Chris is in at $69.50. Remember that number. Go ahead, Pete.
7,500.
7,500. Is that out the door or is that MSRP?
MSRP.
MSRP 7,500. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm going to say 74.95 since we're.
Fair enough. Okay, remember that number. Go ahead, John.
I'll take the 6,800 slot MSRP.
MSRP 6,800. Go ahead.
What year?
1988. You saw the bike last week. It was blue.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. So let me think what I paid for that. For the BMWs. I'll say $9,500.
$9,500.
Is that like as it was sitting, right? With the
And you're gonna
bags
say
and
out
all-
the door.
Out the door, but with
Out the door.
all the shit on it,
Fair enough.
right? Loaded.
I'm going to say exactly
that
the way
year.
man bought it.
Okay.
That year.
That year,
loaded.
1988. Go ahead, Tom.
$1.
So happy you did that. I'm so happy you played the Price is Right rules. All right, go ahead. Go, Dan.
$59.99.
Dan says $59.99. All right.
I'll take 8,700 out the door.
$8,700 out the door. The out the door price at H&H Cycles on Vine Street in 1988 for that bike that you saw, tax included, was $7,758.
I'm a winner.
I took 74.95.
He said $74.95.
He's wrong.
No, but you said
$69.50.
$69.50. Pete's the winner. So what we have in the box today is from one of our listeners who has gone and been working hand in hand with some folks over in Ukraine. And he's been helping make war souvenirs. We're not calling them war souvenirs. We're calling them recently demilitarized equipment.
Oh.
So what we have here is a bottle opener that may or may not have ever been a T80 tank.
Oh, no shit.
So something that used to kill people is now going to open your beverages. So pass that down to Pete. Pete is the winner
Fantastic. I
of
wanna
a
see it. Hold
actual,
on.
and it is.
Very
And I will tell you
nice.
this: that is hard as fuck. I would not want to try to drill through that goddamn steel. That is some very, very,
shit.
very angry steel.
Pete, that's cool.
Yep. So that's from one of our listeners who sent that over to us.
Nice.
Who said
Thank you, Mr. Listener.
He brought back a bunch of stuff. His name is Matthew Siegel.
That should live in your bike stuff.
Yep. So Matthew Siegel sent that over to us. Thank you, Matthew Siegel. He's been kind of back and forth to Ukraine, helping out over there, doing first aid kits for some people. And I've been communicating with him for quite a while. And he sent us over one of those to be kind of like, hey, this is going to be a fun thing for your people.
That is hefty.
Isn't that creepy how fucking hard that metal is? Like, that's legit.
You need to use it for flint, like fire starters.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to make big old sparks, right? Yeah. So well done. Thank you very much. You nailed it. Thank you, Pete Hempfling, for not going over. Closest without going over.
Can we do the prices right thing without YouTube?
I have no idea.
YouTube give a shit. Yeah.
Right. It was well done. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Can I say something about YouTube, by the way?
Can you now?
So I pay quite a bit of money for the fucking music that I use. I use
licensing rights.
Yeah, licensing rights.
Yep.
And the whole point of that is so you don't get fucked with.
That's right.
And every single video we upload, I get strikes for copyright, and I have to fucking go and dispute it and write this whole thing.
It's almost like it's just a lock.
It is.
Right.
Well, it is because the people sell the music to 10 different services.
Yes, exactly.
And so they flag it, and then you have to say, no, I pay this fucking service, and then they'll take it off. But like if I drop 8 videos, that's like 2 hours of my time having to go through and fuck with this shit.
You feel if you pay BMI and ASCAP, you should be covered. But this somehow has screwed up in this generation.
Dude, and I put in the notes, I put like all music licensed from Motion Array with all this shit. Doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. That's exactly right.
Right.
So one of our listeners, and I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here, but one of our guys.
It's fine. I'm used to being under the bus.
Well, you're usually fixing them, so that's where you'd be.
True.
Right. So one of our listeners was working out a deal with somebody, and they said, "Oh, hey, I got a line on a bike," and I was like, "Okay, you got a line on a bike? That's great. What do you got?" And he goes, "Well, I got a line on a bike, and it's an MZ."
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more. It's an MZ Silver Star. Okay, it's an MZ Silver Star. That means it's from the mid-'90s, right? Former Warsaw Pact on the wrong side when the wall went up kind of thing. Okay, great. And it's got a sidecar. Rotax 500 with a sidecar? Oh, and then he sent me pictures of it. And he sent me the pictures of it. And what I'm going to say, if I can say it possibly sweetly and nicely, is corrosion done had its way with this motorcycle. Somebody left this fucker in a wet fucking barn. And the initial image of the bike, you're like, oh, this is okay. We can work with this. This isn't too bad. But then you start looking at it real close. And when you start looking at it real close, you realize, this bike has spent a lot of time moist. A lot of time moist.
Yeah, see that picture? Looks great.
You're like, oh, I love this.
Look at the shiny paint on the sidecar.
I'm all over this fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the next picture, and you can overlook the missing fender on the sidecar. It's not a big deal, right? It happens. You can overlook the stains on the seat. And then you're like, oh, that's weird. There's a lot of water ingress and corrosion around a plastic badge. Okay, that's kind of weird. Uh-oh. Now we're starting to see something. And if you look at the top of that Rotax motor, you're going to see a lot of gasoline and oil ingress on the paint that's on the base of the cylinders. And I've worked on these motorcycles before, and what I can tell you about looking at the exhaust and the brake lever is that in those former Warsaw Pact areas, they didn't go real thick on the plating. They just kind of hit it with a can of chrome, right? And they hit it with a spray can of chrome, and they sent it off. And so he said, well, it hasn't been running in at least 25 years. And I said, dude, you do what you want. I'm not trying to fuck you up. Like, if you have the opportunity to get this bike for next to nothing, it's a sidecar rig. And if you put 20 hours into it, you'll probably have a running bike once you find the gaskets and seals and everything you need for this particular motorcycle, which is not going to be easy because the company went out of business a long time ago and changed hands twice since then.
I mean, they've had 2 runs of Chinese bikes since then.
Exactly. Absolutely right.
Find yourself an MZ Scorpion. They're cheaper.
Right. They're way cheaper. Absolutely. And so what he said was he took a pass on this one, and that magically, I mean fucking magically, the next day he was presented with 2 titled Ninja 250s for $200.
Dang.
That, my friend, is brilliant timing.
That is when you know you need to build a two Ninja 250 powered Chariot.
That's actually pretty good.
Yep, fair game for $200. And they have titles.
The new Mad Max movie, if you
that's
haven't
the whole
seen it.
deal.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, they're going to get popular again.
Hemsworth is riding that thing through the desert. You know what? You need to build it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Macklemore had one for downtown too. So
you're right.
4 Enfields on that one.
Yeah, shoot, that's what's his name from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
He wrote that.
I'm very impressed by that. So well done, sir. That is one of our podcast listeners going, you know what? The bird in hand versus the two in the bush situation. And he had 2 ninjas in the bush. Well done. That is fucking genius. I'm very happy for you.
We were talking about this with the Corvette, how they ran it, his Corvette, how they had that model for 30 years. The Ninja 250, this is the first generation style.
Yes.
They ran them forever.
They did. Yes.
They're not great motorcycles, but it's a great motor and a great package.
Yeah,
it's a good
I had your number one, the red and white one with no fairings or anything. It was just a naked motorcycle.
They made them forever. It was a great, simple bike.
Yeah.
It's like the Rebel 250.
And it was a weird bike because it was just a very boring motorcycle that would happily go 85 miles an hour.
It would do everything you wanted to
great.
do. It's the Rebel 250 of sport bikes. It's great. It's a great bike.
So, would anyone like to hear from podcast listener Corn Poop Cupcake?
Oh, again. Again.
Corn Poop Cupcake.
I just want you to say his name a couple more times.
That's right, folks. Corn Poop Cupcake has circled around. And because
he wins, he already wins.
Back again like a bad
We
cupcake.
get those all the time at where I live.
So, again, you got a good you got a good handle, you got a good hashtag, or you're a Patreon member.
You gotta own it.
I'm gonna read your shit.
You gotta own it.
All right, here it comes, guys.
All right.
Hey guys, it's been a while since I've talked to Yins, but I hope you can help me out.
So he's from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh God.
3 or 4 months ago, a very dear friend and person I saw as an older brother to me in all ways but blood got in a bad accident.
Uh-oh.
And because I love my father and he doesn't ask much of me, he asked me to give up street riding side of the hobby, which I will do. On the upside, my dad has told me that when he kicks the bucket in 10 to 15 years, I can get another street riding bike. But right now, I'm benched, and probably indefinitely. So my questions are, and I apologize that they are all over the place. Is a 2013 Honda CTX 700 worth anything? I have a feeling this is what he's going to liquidate. This is going out into the world.
You know.
So is a 2013 Honda CTX 700 worth anything? When my father and I learned how to ride, unpack that. That was the bike he got. It's got only a couple of 100 miles on it, but it's been dumped twice with minor scratches. It's a nifty bike. It's quick, but right now it's just taking up space. We've got the title and everything. I guess I just don't know what to do with it. Okay, hang in there. My second question is, since I can't ride on the street, is it possible to get a DR650 or a KLR 650 and just take that on trails, like a Hatfield McCoy thing? What would I need to make it lighter, or should I just get a dirt bike and call it a day? My third and last question is, if I come to find out that getting 2 wheels is impossible, can I contact you directly to get a Suzuki Sandbar from Japan, or just talk to you about what you might have in your warehouse? I remember some of the comments from previous questions that I've had for y'all. The name Corn Poop Cupcake was my old gamer tag for Xbox. I do not work for sanitation, but are y'all hiring, Bourbon Fairy? No. And I do want to come onto the show, as much as I'm sure Tom is a wonderful human being. I'm sure he doesn't want a stranger at his house. No, we have all kinds of strangers at our house.
Some strange as it is.
Stranger than others, which I completely understand. So where would that happen? I know.
We missed a joke.
I know.
Sean likes strange.
Right, exactly. Since I know Phil already spends enough time at the shop, Cracklecast maybe? Cracklecasts are due. All right, dudes, I need to get back to work. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and the weekend. Sorry for all the questions. So question one is very simple. He's got a CTX 700. And a CTX 700, as we've talked about on the podcast, ad nauseum, is not a motorcycle that carries with a lot of residual value.
Right, but I've seen, this is a bike I've followed a lot because it's a fallback bike.
It is.
And I've seen them, depending on the damage, 25 to 34.
Absolutely. I think it's a
And
$2,500 bike.
They're amazing bikes.
It's a solid friend.
It's the Mr. Coffee motorcycle.
But he's not trying to buy one. He's trying to sell one.
trying to
so
sell
I think
one.
2,500 is
I'd
going
start at 34.
lean into the
and
Facebook.
Lean
Well,
into
wait.
it.
So here's the thing. So yeah, how many miles? He said he has a couple hundred miles.
Not enough miles. Yeah.
It's only got a couple of hundred miles
like
on
if
it.
this was here, I'd buy it.
So like, so here's a
Well, he said it was dropped twice. Okay, what happened when it was?
And that's not.
we just have scrapes on the bar end, or do we
they're-
actually have bodywork damage?
They're
I
literally
mean,
made of plastic.
because like, so you can find them on here all day long between 4 and 2,500.
Yeah.
But like this one, this has low miles. It has 2,500 miles mint and it's 37.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so yeah, you're
I
probably
looked at him just because it's such a practical little bike. I mean, it's not great looking, or it's not what I really want. But they're so cheap, and it's a Honda, and it's.
I'd start at 34. If you hit 27, take your money.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I honestly do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And
we've had several of them come through the shop.
counter to that, what I would also put up, 'cause
Unless
Phil-
Steve Hoffert's buying it, in which
Yeah.
case he'll give you $700.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Phil's going to follow me with this, is because your next question was about a dirt bike.
Yep.
I'd put it up for 34
Or trade for.
or trade for.
Or trade for.
And then settle for what you get. And you and I both would probably go with what, a CRF 250L?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
There
going to
you
say
go.
you don't want a DR 650 in the woods. If you have to ride it off road, you don't want any 650.
Okay.
Pete
So
is gonna-
this is like guys that say, I'm never going to drink ever again.
Yeah.
well, I'm doing all right.
But they hit every communion.
Yeah.
Right. This is one of those ones where you're just like, yep. Yeah. So since I can't ride it on the street, how dirty can I get? Yeah. Right.
You know,
So you know,
I
yes, you can
changed-
get a Goldwing for off road.
Every bike's an adventure bike if you're brave enough.
You put TKs on this bastard and you rock it off road.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, the thing
Became
is,
your dirt bike.
You
You already own
this
it.
is your dirt bike.
Here's
you
the
own
thing.
it anyway. Just rock that thing off road.
the seat is so low on that it actually would be pretty fun off road.
Yep.
You're not have a lot of suspension, but if you're going to do fire roads and shit like that, you're
yeah.
so low to the ground, you're not going to kill yourself.
Yep.
And
You take that can off. You put a little bit of a up on it. You put some dirt bike tires on that thing. That is your off road.
The
bike.
only way to say that the DR650 or the KLR 650 is a good off road bike is if you are literally a 300-pound grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean,
I can wield my KLR 650 pretty good off road, but it's a handful. It's too big.
I mean,
Meanwhile,
I don't know. Mike did pretty good with his DR. Like he would rip that thing on gravel.
we
and
did
everything.
say that this guy's got not a ton of riding experience.
Right.
So I would argue that we have a Yamaha XT225 in the shop right now
Yep.
that anybody could ride off road proficiently.
And what'd you tell me when you got off of it?
Yep.
Perfectly does everything you want it to do and nothing
Absolutely.
more.
Perfect if you only needed to have one motorcycle to be your off-road bike and your on-road bike.
Yep.
And to that I will add KLX 250s.
Yep.
KLR 300s, KLX 300s.
I would say anything under 290 pounds.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like it's off road is so enjoyable on a light bike.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you get into the sticky situations, it really is not that sticky.
You guys have
Resist
that
DRZs unless you
Oh yeah.
like doing the top ends. So if you like doing valve adjustments and all that stuff, Yamaha 426s and stuff,
Yeah.
they're very attractive, but you're going to be spending a lot of time in those valves.
Get something simple.
the WRs, the WR 250 is supposed to be the king of all
I liked
kinds.
your CRF 250.
I absolutely loved it. Yeah. And that's and that's
I
one of
liked
those,
it better than my brother's CRF 300.
Yeah. I
Yours,
really
yours is the
CRF 250F.
Yeah, but yours is not an L.
Now the L's got the headlights.
The L's got the CRF 300L has got all the street gear.
Yeah.
And it feels like different tuning and
It's
different.
totally
it's
different.
And they're what?
totally
They're a
different.
20-year bike anyway. They have not changed that motorcycle.
And the CRF 250F is one of those things that you're like, you're never going to have to do anything to it. It's designed to go well beyond.
It's not that weird two-stroke that they had. That's
You're
just a
fine.
freaking motocross bike.
So
No,
that's-
this is the simple plotter.
That's getting something that's very simple and very easy is a really good idea. Now, sandbar. Do not buy a Suzuki. Do not buy a sandbar. Do not buy an Acti. Do not buy a Carry because the rules are changing in a lot of different states, and it would not be out of the question to have you get a letter in the mail in a week after you buy your sandbar, your Carry, your Acti, telling you that now your title is not worth the paper it's printed on.
You want to do exactly
Dangerous
what,
time.
Exactly what I've been looking at. You want to look at a vehicle called the Chevrolet Tracker or the Suzuki Sidekick, and they made it up.
yeah.
There are late 2000 Chevy Trackers out there. I've seen
There's a lot of that stuff.
The 2-door drop toppy thing.
the Suzuki, Suzuki drop top, plastic top.
Right. Yeah,
No.
Samurais are
They
good
made
too.
these. They made these real late, and even Suzuki up until the end.
We had one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're beautiful, little, tiny, cheap, simple. They're not a Jeep,
No, they're fine.
but you can wheel that top back like a Miata.
It's a K truck with a 1-liter motor instead of a 660.
and it's America legal.
It's totally
You're
America
never going to
legal.
have to worry about the DMV.
Never
going,
have to care about it.
Ooh, bonus points if you get like a purple Geo.
Oh,
one
exactly,
from way back.
exactly.
Also
I've
true.
always liked the acid green one.
Don't buy the X90.
Yeah, no.
There's no room for your shit.
There's no room for anything.
Right. Okay, well that's cool. So that's all fantastic. Thank you so much, Corn Poop Cupcake.
And now this is like the third time we've fielded questions. So if he wants to come to Mid Ohio and hang out, and like
He can come here and hang out.
come here and hang out.
He shows up.
Just let us know what's going on. I mean,
we record Friday nights.
Yeah.
Show up, right? It's not a hard thing to do. We are there for it, right?
Bring alcohol.
Well, yeah, look at this
You don't
place.
have
We
to.
don't
That's
need
true. We
that,
don't really
right?
need much.
Yeah.
Bring mixers.
So from Nick Childs, one of our Patreons, he gives a shout out to Sleepy and says, hey, congrats on the Tuono and getting interested in track day riding.
I am.
He says, I was about to buy one, but I decided to be much more comfortable crashing my new to me 2013 GSX-R 600 on the track than that beast. You guys are really speaking into my recent fetish of track riding. I've only been 4 weekends out this year, Putnam 3 times, NCM once, but I'm making it a point to go once per month during the warm ones. I have a blast, and remember that you'll make a lot of bigger impression by not crashing and earning bumps into the faster groups than you would by crashing in the first section at novice. We said, don't win practice.
Yeah, no, we're me and Mark have looked into. We're trying to actually. I'm not just going to go to a track day. I want to do like the school.
Do a school.
Yeah,
Do
a couple
fast
days
tracks.
of school. Yeah,
do
fast tracks a couple times.
Do fast tracks. You'll love it.
Yeah,
I've made it a point to talk to the Ducatista or the Ducatista boys.
Ducatisti.
That are all over the racetrack. And I couldn't believe when my new friend confirmed that he needed a clutch on his 2019 V4S after only 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
I'd say
That sounds about right.
No, he did better than most
Yeah.
at 5K. He said that the bike went into neutral unprompted 4 times in only one day.
Yeah.
Ouch. And I thought you guys were surely joking when you talked about this same topic with Mark.
Oh, no.
Perhaps I'll see you guys on the track at some time or Mid-Ohio, where I've been entertaining the idea of racing my 600 at next Vintage Days.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You might
I'll
get as
pit.
much...
Hey, if he does it, I'll pit for him.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You might
100%.
get just as much entertainment as I do by watching First Time Track Day Explained by Evolve GT on YouTube. I watch it again before every single track weekend.
Evolve. What is it?
It's called First Time Track Day Explained by Evolve GT.
Okay.
So Evolve GT on YouTube. First Time Track Day Explained.
Good
That's
info,
a tip.
man. Yeah,
Get
good
that.
info.
Get out there and do that. Again, our fucking Patreons are helping us.
Yeah, they are.
That's badass.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that, Nick. That is some solid fucking advice. I dig that. And he says also Track Days FYI is a site that should help tremendously in planning events.
Yeah.
I did not have any idea how to find Track Days until I went to that site. Track Days
Yeah.
FYI.
I joined a couple of groups on Facebook. There's like Ohio Track Day guys and
Real
stuff.
good
And
group. Yeah.
There's a lot of good info on there and like all the things they're taking. So I learned on that they're taking the roller coaster out of Mid Ohio next year. They're going to redo the track.
Yeah. Well,
Because for AMA and
for AMA. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Right.
a Moto America.
Yep. Yeah. Well, if you want those fast bikes to be on there,
Yeah.
you got to give them a track they can
Oh,
work with.
Yeah, because they can't fly. They were launching.
They
off
were
of it.
not touching the ground.
No.
Seriously. That literally that
saves wear and tear on the-
transition.
I
That saves
was
wear and tear on
there
the track.
Sunday. I got
called
home.
insanity for a reason.
Dude, I got home from our trip and I had my wife drop me off and meet with Mark, all this stuff. But I went and I spent the whole day at and watched Superbikes, and they were doing 187 miles an hour. It was full on legit. Like the top 3 dudes were so insane, but they'd come around that area, full balls out, full rip, and they were airborne. It was, yeah.
And that's a very difficult, like the Springfield Mile was always a big deal because there's a decent portion of the track where your bike's going to be off the surface and it's a dirt track, right? And that's always was a nail biter part of the thing is you're like the bike is flying through the air, and that's not normally a part of a a oval track. And Mid Ohio has always been in that particular transition, that particular set of turns has always given me a lot of trouble because I have a problem driving headlong into something I can't see.
It's the Midwestern corkscrew.
It is the Midwestern corkscrew. It's exactly right.
This was interesting. So like I dropped a video today just before I got here, but walking around. So, we'd go to AMA Superbikes. Everybody's been there and stuff. And I used to go through the pits and you'd look at the bikes and they kind of looked like your bike with some like shinier parts, right?
Yeah.
Now, oh my God, dude. I didn't know. I didn't know how much shit has got. I watched them take a bike. They rolled it into the pits. The guy goes over, there were 2 guys on 2 sides, 4 screws. The tank, seat, and tail comes off.
Oh,
and gets
everything now is modular.
Dude, onto a stand.
Yep.
Then everything has military press fittings.
Yep.
They go, they don't even lose brake pressure, nothing. The whole front end's off.
Yep.
The motor, 4 bolts, it comes on a stand.
When you put them back on, you don't bleed them. They're ready to rock.
They're perfect. Ready to go.
Yep.
And like I have shots of like, you can see it. All the lines, it's like military, like all the little connections and stuff. But it's so they ripped the whole bike apart in 45 seconds, and then each part, like, so you have the motor team, and they went, and they had the motor,
and they disappear.
And then the clip-ons have the master cylinder, everything, so like if you crash, they just grab another clip-on set with all the shit on it that's already pressurized. They go, and they're ready to go.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. It was awesome.
That's how you win.
Oh, dude.
Right. Less time down.
The BMW teams on the super bikes, the big ones, they're $100,000 bikes, maybe more. Like the carbon fiber is everywhere, and it's not the stick-on kind.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because those military connectors might cost you 18 grams.
Yeah.
So now the bodywork can't weigh nothing.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, it was. I could eat that all day long.
You want to blow somebody's mind right now?
Yeah.
Patreon listener Tony Summerscales sent us a message.
Obviously a fake name.
I know, right? Summerscales. Good morning, Phil and team. It's another 4 a.m. start for no damn reason, but a good opportunity to listen to a newly released episode from the vaults.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for reading my message in your last podcast, but I really wasn't expecting it. I nearly crashed my fucking car. So now we're on our second date. I feel there's a few more things you need to know about me.
Oh. Call Rand.
Oh. Firstly, I've had a bit of a fetish for sidecars over the year. My first was an MZ TS250 outfit.
Hey, we don't kink shame.
Which I hauled out of a garden and put back on the road as a teenager. As you know, in the UK, we can't just jump on any bike before passing a driving test, or several. So back when I got my learner's permit, I was restricted to 125 cc's unless the bike had a sidecar.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's a tricky rule.
Oh, that is a loophole and a half.
That's why they race them over there so good. All the kids grew up at 14 driving sidecars.
You mean I can have a water buffalo if I have a sidecar?
What constitutes a sidecar? A stick with a wheel on it? Like,
okay.
Let's rock and roll.
I love that. Hence riding around on a dodgy old MZ sidecar outfit. I don't think I was the coolest kid in town, but I was having a lot of fun.
He was the last owner of the last MZ sidecar hack setup we just saw with all the water damage.
I don't think so.
You were cooler than all the other kids who didn't have that.
Right.
No shit. Right.
And you had the ability
Absolutely.
to take 2 other people with you.
Yeah. And you had the ability to get all the groceries home.
Hey, man. Everyone else had a 125. He's got a TS250.
Hell yeah.
Right. Sidecar, none. And you know he unbolted that shit all the time.
And piled chicks in there. And everything.
Yeah.
And just
They
racks of
called
beer.
that thing the pussy wagon.
Right. Yeah. he's a kid in the UK.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah, all right. Okay, so here we go. Roll forward 30 years and we're blessed with the arrival of little Harry Summerscales.
All right.
So like every good father,
Harry Summerscales. Come on.
that sounds like when you
Obviously a fake name.
that sounds like when you swim in the wrong pool.
It is really.
You got a bad case of Harry Summerscales.
Hey, don't insult the man.
I know. I just.
It's a fine name, man.
This could be true.
Dude, I would take summer scales over cinch any fucking day of the year. My whole life is, and I'm sure England doesn't have the hefty cinch sack, which is a fucking garbage bag, which didn't help my life either.
But I don't know why they named you Hefty since now you gotta go by Sleepy. Whoever decided to name you Hefty, that was cruel.
Yeah, that was my
when
dad.
your mom decided Hefty was going to be your name, that was
my
that
dad was
evil.
Marine. He was always
Hefty.
mean.
Hefty.
Because my son is Hefty. Yes, Hefty
was.
cinch. Yeah.
The
Oh,
cat was
Husky, goddammit. Get it right. Sears Husky.
the cat
All right, here we go.
The cat was named Chesty.
So roll forward 30 years and we're blessed with the arrival of little Harry Summerscales.
Yeah.
So like every good father, I got busy in the garage and created a hot rod sidecar to go on my Victory Vegas.
Nice.
Okay.
This turned into quite the project, or I'm sorry, Quite the project. But the end result was pretty impressive, and from the age of 3, he was traveling with us to bike meets and events in style. Harry is 17 now and a fully fledged petrolhead.
Okay.
He's much more interested in cars and 4x4s than bikes.
Oh.
But that means my collection is safe for now. Yeah, that's right.
That's fair.
The other thing I wanted to share was my link to the Isle of Man. I enjoyed listening to your adventures over there, and I'm sorry you didn't get the best weather, but it's a place I'm very attached to. My parents and cousin live on the island.
Oh, shit.
And I love to get over there whenever I can, especially by bike. If you ever find yourself going again, which we will, then let me know, and I'd be more than happy to buy you a pint and show you around. Well, don't threaten me with a good time.
So we're not just going to have to rely on Andrea.
Exactly, right. Personally, I think the island is at its best between the TT and the Classic in September. I agree. There's still plenty going on, but it's not so manic, allowing you to enjoy the roads and explore the island. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for sorting out the postage on my tightly stuffed box. I look forward to receiving it. I'm assuming my address comes through the Patreon system, but let me know if you need it. The sun is nearly up now, so I'll be off to ride fast and take chances.
Hell yeah.
Well, cheers, Mr.
yeah.
Summerscale.
Cheers
That was a good email. That was a great email,
message.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I love the idea that the bar has been set. Our Patreons are now understanding. You send us a good message, we're going to read it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. The whole thing of like, my name is Dale and I have a V-Strom.
Yeah.
That's not going to get the job done.
I mean, I've got a V-Strom. I've been trying to get rid of that bastard
but like
for 5
we
years.
are. I already told my wife I'm going to the Isle of Man the next few years.
Yeah,
I'm figuring it out. So that's gonna happen. So you better get this fucking pint right.
And somebody better hook me up with a Peel P50, or I'm just gonna have a that's gonna be a problem.
When you go to the museum, the Peel Museum in the Isle of Man,
drive this thing.
There's a Peel Museum on the island.
Well, that's where they built it.
it's so sad. It is so sad. It is so sad. Yeah, I've been to the King Midget Museum, which is here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And the hill that they had to drive the cars up to test them.
Yeah.
And that's not as sad as the Peel Museum. Oh, it's so bad.
That we saw the guy that we were in North Carolina with, the barn find guy. He had a bunch of those, and he was telling us the whole story.
Oh, they were
about it.
virtually disposable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause
it was a Peel 50 or a pack of smokes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what they said. They sold more of those. They was like the 6th largest car manufacturer at the time. Back
You
then.
didn't need a license. You didn't need insurance.
It was the 6th largest on the Isle of Man.
Right.
No, not the Peel one. The other one. But yeah.
King Midget. Yeah, King Midget
Midget,
was Athens.
Well, that's,
I think.
as many as those pop up here, I am surprised I don't own a
King Midget?
Wait, I take it back.
Stop.
I'm surprised a King Midget hasn't shown up in my driveway as somebody
It
is
is
driven by and
just
thrown
a golf
out.
cart.
It is. What you're saying
The old timey cars at Cedar Point are way more
What you're
technologically
saying is
advanced
that's
than
our
a King Midget.
ride for Mid Ohio next year is King Midget
You can build one for less than you can buy one.
with a Predator motor.
Are you ready for the last? The very last Patreon
This is the
letter.
last Patreon
And
message
this is
ever.
a bit of a ringer.
Okay.
So
It's
I'm
Rand?
going to apologize in advance.
He only took tips.
Oh, Mark Davidson.
No,
Oh.
Matt from Moto Hop.
Oh,
all right.
Hey,
Matt's good.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been missing you, buddy.
He's going to admit that the gas was what was boiling in his carburetor.
All right. Feel free to ignore this.
Okay.
We didn't.
All right, thanks. All right, next
And on that note,
next message.
I gotta love that. That is brilliant. If I wasn't interested in his email, I would fucking do that. Just because that is the spirit of Cleveland.
We're on it.
You know what? In another universe, we just played the
played it
outro.
out.
That's fine. All right. But in this universe,
All right.
I've just had some extra time on my hands sitting at home with COVID for a week. Didn't bet that wasn't a souvenir in mid-Ohio because COVID can't survive that dust. Dirt. Okay. And thought this might be a fun thought, exercise, discussion for the podcast.
Okay.
If you were going to build a scooter for off-road riding, could be gravel roads, trail riding, hill scrambles, Vespa cross, etc. It's up to you, freestyle. What scooter would you choose to start with? 2-strokes or 4-strokes? Modern for parts availability or vintage to have a clutch and a gearbox? Something with changeable handlebars, like a Kimco Super 8 or a Lance Galley Classic. Also, thanks to everyone for all the great times at Vintage Days, already counting down to next year. Oh, and tell Tom that I think it was the fuel filter on the truck motorhome.
See? When you rolled in.
I changed the filter at Mid-Ohio, and the truck ran fine all the way back to Akron.
There we go.
Hey, great. So that's an excellent idea. That's a fantastic, best email message, giving us something to talk about. And a really good, really good thought experience. So on that ride fast and take chances. We'll talk to you next week.
That's a good
And
one.
play us out here, Johnny.
Bum, 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 bum.
Tune in next week for the answer to Matt from Omaha's question about dirt bike scooters.